They agreed to exchange the remains of 6,000 deceased soldiers.
The talks followed Ukraine's extensive drone strikes on Russian air bases.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced a significant increase in military spending on Monday, citing the threat posed by Russia.
The plan includes constructing up to a dozen new nuclear-powered submarines and preparing the army for potential conflict in Europe.
The European Union is preparing countermeasures in response to new U.S. tariffs on steel, which have disrupted global markets. Joseph Eckerson reports.
The tariffs were introduced by the Trump administration, complicating ongoing trade negotiations between Brussels and Washington.
A suspect has been arrested following an attack at a pedestrian mall in Boulder, Colorado, which authorities are investigating as an act of terror.
The individual allegedly used a makeshift flamethrower, resulting in multiple injuries.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee, and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Can't win. I can't win. I can't win.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll make it laugh. I don't know. Am I high right now? I don't know. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put
These mother.
on a big
Oh, look. If I can do
pot.
that. Oh, look. I can just make. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. Fire myself. I keep coming back. It doesn't matter. I'm fired, but I'm still here. Anyway, good morning. I don't know what day it is. I got to figure this out. It's Tuesday, right? Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. My insane June starts today. Gig. I noticed where we dropped the Rumble connection here. There's a problem with Rumble. I'll try to fix that at some point. Dylan Brody is our scheduled guest today. We'll be here at 10:15 because he's on the West Coast, and the West Coast is very early. It's 7:15. Well, right now it's 6 o'clock in the morning right there. So we'll let him sleep a little, get his coffee ready, and then come in and hopefully just be another person on the Bash GD. Or just, I don't know if you know this about GD, but man, did you ever stop and think that maybe all this negativity you put out is why so many people just want to, I don't know. So here's the deal. And then that's a GD phrase. He owns that. I don't know if he copyrighted that, trademarked it, whatever, but I think he owns it now. Apparently, we were recapping the Blind Mike thing yesterday, and GD said he laughs at them because they're so stupid. And Blind Mike heard that, and now his feelings are hurt. So now we have to have Blind Mike on and have GD confront him about why he called them stupid. I guess, I don't know. I'm not even sure he called Blind Mike stupid. He might have been calling they. He did say they. Now, they is not Blind Mike. I believe his pronoun is I, he, me, I, he, who. I, and you, sometimes Y or something. So they is plural, right? So what is he talking about? The chat room, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And now it turns out GD goes to Barry Katz, and the negativity follows him. And there are people, I say, maybe one person, giving him some grief over there. And it just seemed like, I don't know, maybe Willie should have a talk with GD about the power of kumbaya. And positivity, negative. Way too negative for me, man. I don't know. I'm just saying. And I'm a guy who doesn't really buy into that bullshit. But, hey, look at me. I am the Mr. Love and Kindness, trying to bring the world together in peace, dialogue, and diplomacy. Yes, I'm not reading that off a teleprompter. Diplomacy. Not working. So, but, hopefully it's all in jest and we can just stop launching missiles. I thought I would end this war with a simple phone call, even before I got in office. Turns out world peace is a tough thing, and I'm just not up for it. I should stick to something I'm good at. If we can only find out what it is that I'm good at. I'm excited about Sunday. Why I have a gun in my hand while I say I'm excited about Sunday. Sunday, I'm doing an outdoor family festival. It's a small thing, but I'm doing like an outdoor painting demonstration and doing some painting outdoors for the local community. I'm kind of excited about that. I don't know. Should I not be excited? Should I not be excited about that? I should be excited about that. Anyway, I have nothing further to add to this thing. We'll find out who's dissing GD now. Who's disrespecting me now? Who's not honoring me now? When we meet the gentleman. I use that word lightly because one of them is just, both of them are just, neither one of them, they're not good. Whatever. Let's have a taco and think it over. How about that?
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
What's going on? What is this? You know what? No, I will not be at church. Ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to add the dudes to the background. Here they are. And I forgot to change the background. Everything's all fucked up. You know why everything's all fucked up? Because I'm incompetent and I should just quit. I quit. Take over. Okay. In the room with me now are the worst person in the world, Stephen Degenerate, whatever, terrorist, domestic terrorist.
Whoa! Oh my God!
I'm sorry. Am I wrong about this? Did I forget one of your credits? Oh
no! You added too many.
Rapist.
Oh my God!
Stephen the bad boy Ortiz, and also with me is this morning is GD. Nobody likes me, Fenderson. Nobody likes me because I just spread negativity everywhere I go. Because I don't know if you know this about me, but Kumaya. Fenderson. Good morning, GD.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Are you tired of being tired of people who you find tiresome?
No.
Well, those people are like bad bacteria in your gut. Use Good Brew, bro, and shove them out your butt. Use the link at minddogtv.com or the link below and order Good Brew, bro. Support your local mercenaries and enjoy the suffering. MindDogTV.com.
That's a tongue twister. Good Brew Bro, Good Brew Bro, Good Brew Bro.
I know, that's why I have to slow down to say it.
I owe Warren Green a tremendous apology. I'm sorry, Warren. Are you guys you guys are on board with me with my apology to Warren Green, right?
He was a football player, right?
No.
Basketball player?
No.
Sounds like an athlete of some kind.
He was the program director at WNYG 1440 AM when I was.
Oh shit! You owe him an apology.
Because
they tried to put us on the air, and you put Ron on the same show the same day. Oh fuck! You owe him an apology.
What I owe him an apology for? No, he's not. He hasn't been the program director in 35 years. What I owe him an apology for is he had told me, "You're a Howard Stern wannabe." No, I was not. I was a Don Imus wannabe. But
he owes you an apology.
Well, no. What he said to me was, "You're trying to be a shock jock, and you don't have it in you to be a good shock jock." And I was resentful of that and hurt and all that stuff. But because I wasn't in my mind trying to be a shock jock. I was trying to be Don Imus, which was not a shock jock. But turns out he's right. I am not a good shock jock. I'm a failure at being a shock jock because here we are with all this conflict. Everybody hating on GD hating right back. Everything's going on, and we got war that's like Ukraine and Russia. And I can't find a way to fucking monetize it or get more ratings, more views, more viewers. I'm a failure at shock jockism.
Well, I think we could have started. We probably could have started out by, having a breaking news: war declared between the Slaptail Nation and the Blind Mike Brigade. And then, we could have had like a local correspondent, and I could be the Slaptail sympathizer, and we could have, refugee interviews.
Now, Ian is saying Don Imus was shocking for other reasons. I disagree. He's shocking for something he said on the air. Well, I think he's referring to nappy-headed hose thing. And but that was part of the program. That was Bernard McGurk saying that. But I don't know. Imus was not necessarily a shock jock, but people were mad at him and lumped him in with all those shock jocks because he was doing abrasive humor. He was doing some really stuff, not that PG, at least R-rated, certainly, on the radio from 1970 through the 2000s. But then nappy-headed hosting, that was just Bernard. Bernard was definitely a racist. I don't think Imus was, but he got caught up in the moment of just, it's funny, nappy-headed hose. I don't know what it means, but I'm going to keep saying it because people are laughing. Anyway, I have some forgiveness for that. But I'm disagreeing with Ian that he was shocking for what he shocked people for what he said on the air. That makes him a shock jock. I can't figure out a way to monetize. Now, come back to this thing. GD, were you calling Mike, Blind Mike, were you calling him stupid when you said, I just laugh at them because they're so stupid?
I was not calling anyone stupid. I was calling their jokes stupid.
Okay,
not them. I was not questioning. Just a second, let me finish. I was not questioning their intelligence. I can if I want to, because sometimes it seems like they miss the obvious things because they're so quick to jump to a conclusion that they've already made before they hear the evidence. And that's what I meant by inept. Okay. But so having said that, now, here's the thing that I want his nation to understand. You guys think it's okay for him to say that I am not funny, but if I say that their methods are stupid and inept, it's not okay. So you're too close to it. You need to back off and leave me the fuck alone if you don't know what you're talking about, guys. Okay, you guys in the chat room. You guys in the chat room, okay? If you call me talentless, I don't have a problem with that. But if you call me, if you say you're dumber for having listened to me, then don't listen.
Well, if you're going to put that out there, at least have a penalty cup where they have to put not for you, for me, because I need to monetize this thing. Like $1 every time they want to insult you in a way that you're not okay with. They should put $1.
Well, no, if they want to insult me in a way that I'm not okay with, it's like, again, I'm just thinking in terms of what is it, free speech and equal treatment or whatever.
Right.
And I'm just saying I'm entitled to this, to have my opinions, just like Blind Mike is entitled to have his opinions. And if you're okay with him spouting his opinions because for whatever reason, that's fine. But if I express my opinions, I don't, and you want to sit here and pick everything I say apart and then exaggerate it and then try to create friction where there seemed to have been no friction or less friction, then you're a dick and you're a douche, because,
Well,
we
here,
use
so
the B word.
So from my perspective, when I rewatched what GD had said, I feel that
and where's the rest of it? Yeah, where's the
we
whole thing in context?
Well, hold on. We were talking. I'm pretty sure that section you were just talking about people in general talking about your comedy, and you said how people that do that, they are stupid. I thought he was referring to people in general who are criticizing.
Now, regardless, I was addressing their show. Yeah.
Either way, because I said some shit about Mike, and then somebody came at me saying, "Well, don't disrespect Mike," but what's the problem with this other person? And I'm just like, all I said was that Mike should be
what
John
we're never
Beavers.
going to.
Yes.
We're never going to be able to monetize this, which is all I really fucking care about, until you actually name the people. So you have to name.
Okay, so I said that Blind Mike. I said my only fuss with Blind Mike at this point is the fact that he's not upfront when he's criticizing someone. I think that is pussy behavior. I'll be the to say it. If you're gonna criticize or talk about someone's body of work, let them know. Give them a chance to know that it's happening, so they have a chance to. Ever. Now, he's also about me in the past, so it is what it is.
Wait. Before you move on from that point, you did say yesterday that if it happens spontaneously, then you understand that there's no
completely understandable.
Now, I think a lot of those comments that they made were spontaneous. They're like, I'm not planning on saying this about GD. I'm not planning on saying about. They were looking at.
But they planned on talking about him. But they planned on covering his special and critiquing it. A simple tag, in the description or something, I think would have been plenty. Just like, hey, GD, we're critiquing your work, just so you know.
Okay.
But then say what you want about it. We're all comedians. We're all big boys. We should all be able to take what people say and just let it roll off our backs. It is. But if you're going to be sneaky and a puss about it.
God, you just ramble on after you make your point. I'm Willie. I
know you're Willie, but go on.
Let me tag Steven so I could let him know I just called him Willie. But so whatever. They should maybe tag him or whatever. But he knows they're looking at his special. He gets a notification when they do it. I don't think that rises to the effect of pussy. Pussy is somebody who's running away. Now, I understand Mike's perspective where it looked like John was pussying out, but because it looked like he was being hypocritical. I'll call him a pussy, and then as soon as he arrives, I'm going to leave. But that's not my perception of it. John was saying, there's already 5 people in the room. Your guy to interview and talk to is here. I'll step out, not thinking about how it looks from the outside looking in. And Ron the same thing. Ron was verbally calling the guy a pussy for just having criticism. It wasn't hiding from it, and he was agreeing to come on the show. And the idea that he was trying to puss out at the last minute and not coming on the show did not make any sense with me, because he could have just blocked me and then I couldn't send him the link. He could have done a lot of things if he didn't want to come on it. He could have just said no. I don't think he was. I think everybody's wrong in this thing. We got to stop firing the missiles or find a way to make the missiles pay is all I care about, really. Like, can we get a few more clicks? Can we get a few more clicks? How do I make this work so we get some attention out of it? Like, because nobody seems to fucking care. Yeah,
you need to hold Napo's court.
This is my fault. Matt, I will become a bigger, more successful comedian, so that it matters, and when people talk about me, and people will care, and then we'll get more clicks.
I don't think that's it. I think you have to say something really outrageous, like, I don't know.
It's not in my nature to be outrageous like that. Not for the sake
Steven
of.
has to. Somebody's got to step up here and be the martyr for this show. Get themselves hung and tarred and feathered.
Mike
for this show.
Blind Mike is only blind because he plays with himself too much.
That's a myth. Although it could happen.
It
could happen. He could have shot in his eye and
affecting my eyesight. Every time Mike beats off, I get a little. I have to up my prescription a little.
Yeah, because see now because that you remind me, Stephen. I probably escaped blindness just by sheer luck. Although I didn't climax when I was a kid, I sucked my own penis, and I didn't come to climax. So, if I were older.
That's a way to monetize stuff. Welcome to sucking your own penis with the dog.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. I'm not talking about.
You didn't miss the point, though, and that's the good thing.
I did miss the point. I didn't bring.
You didn't miss the tip.
I didn't bring myself to a happy ending, and so therefore I didn't risk being shot in the eye. So this is more like a PSA to people out there who are sucking their own penises. If you're sucking your own penis, stop before you shoot yourself in the eye.
If you're sucking your own penis, congratulations on your very long penis.
It's a PSA. It's a penis service announcement. So just beware of that. Matter of fact, here you go. These are the Mind Dog TV official Mind Dog TV penis sucking goggles. You wear these, okay? This is high impact plastic, and they're UV rays. If you're going to suck your own penis, wear these goggles. And also have nose plugs so you don't get it in your nostril.
I wasn't planning on sucking my own penis.
No, you're not. You're just a sponsor of the sperm splatterware. We call it sperm splatterware.
Now, we'll get into whether this semen actually caused eye damage at another point. Maybe a different program. We'll just have a whole special on that. So here on Long Island, Ron, our friend Ron. Blind Mike couldn't see talent if he echolocated. Boy, I can't read. Direct quote from the Dark Lord of Browntown Slaptail Squad's own JD. I didn't know there was a JD.
He's out on the West Coast.
Okay.
Slaptail is launching missiles.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to bring peace here. Apparently, you don't want peace. You don't want peace. You're a warmonger. But I'm fine with the war if it leads back to how it benefiting me in some way. But right now, you got at least please do me a favor. If you are going to take shots at Blind Mike and they're going to go back and forth, at least tag the show in it and say this war all started on Coffee with the Dog, so that I might get
But it didn't really start. Well, I guess that war started on Coffee with the Dog.
It doesn't matter if it's true. Just say it.
It matters to me. I do not like disseminating false information. Even on stage.
This is war. It's war. It doesn't matter what the information is true or not.
It's commerce, damn it. We need to send more people to Daily High Club because, listen, they haven't had a new subscription in like 2 months.
I don't have fame. I don't have fortune. And even my looks may fade in the future. So the only thing I have is my word, my bond, the thing that my integrity. So that's it. That's the only thing that can last. Like I said, even this face may fade in time. And that's a long shot.
Wow.
I may be doomed to having this great looking face forever. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Now, what does Robert Teller have to say about you? Robert Teller doesn't love you either?
No.
Why not? What did you do to Robert Teller? That's what I want to
know. Nothing negative. Nothing negative. Remember, our first encounter was on this show. So everything that's ever happened between us has happened on this show and it's documented.
Can we monetize it?
I don't know the answer to that because I didn't say anything negative to him or anything. So every encounter I've had with him prior to Barry Katz's workshops happened on this show. By the time we got to the Barry Katz workshop, whatever it is that he felt about me here moved over there. Now, I never said anything bad about him over there. He recently posted in the chat room over there. He says, I have a new comedy bit or something on YouTube. And I shared it. Well, I tried to share it. I sent him a note. And the note said something like, I will mention it on Coffee with the Dog. You remember Matt Napo, right?
Oh.
That's what I wrote. Because it seems like...
So you cursed him out.
I didn't curse him out. I'm trying
Matt
to...
Napo. You said Matt Napo to him. That's a curse. That's a curse.
I thought you guys were friends. And I'm just trying... And I thought you guys were friends. You were like I said, I wouldn't even know about him. He probably got more publicity. He's probably got more publicity from this show than anything else. I mean, as a beginning comic, he does. I haven't watched any of his material. I've heard him say some very funny things.
Robin, but what happened to Robin?
But I think you've done more for his comedy career, at least promoting it this way, more so than even the people in the chat room that he does at the workshop, because that's not public out there. So I was just saying, remember Matt Napo, the guy who helped you out when you were starting out.
Almost like remember the Alamo, remember the Napo.
Yeah, remember the Napo, the guy who helped you out when you were starting out. That's all I was saying. And so I go to his site and the link's not there, and I can't find the link. So it's possible that he had it on one of those scheduled shares. It could be scheduled to share May 22nd, but let's say at 4 p.m. instead of 4 a.m. So when I went, it just hadn't posted yet, but I couldn't find it. So I reached out to him and I said, I can't find your link to share it. He doesn't respond. He didn't respond to the Napo thing. He didn't respond to any of the things I did to try to help or whatever. And so last night he came on. The scheduled guest, Ed Bassmaster.
Ed Gale.
Oh, no, Ed
Bassmaster.
Ed Bassmaster. He was a scheduled speaker or interviewer the guest. And there was technical difficulties, and they couldn't get him on right away. So Barry, to kill time, says, "Does anybody have any jokes?"
To kill time. Does anybody want to bash GD? Robin put it in. Yeah.
So, anybody have any jokes? And basically, if you have a joke that you want input from or for about, you mention it, and then everybody chimes in. The first guy does this thing that's not very good. It was just a rambling thing about a parking ticket app that he got in New York.
Whoa. And
so after it was done, after everybody chimed in, Barry says, "Will anybody else have anything about it? Or, did they want to add or something like that?" And so I went on my rant about my parking thing I got from Delaware, right. And I read the list, the thing about how they're charging you $15. It's a $4 toll that comes up to $91.50. And I went through this thing, and Barry goes something like, I can't remember now. It's like, he said something like was there a joke in there somewhere, GD? And I said, no, I didn't know we were doing jokes. I thought we were just bitching about parking tickets.
Oh.
And so that's it. So I was just bitching. So I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong room. I need to go to the bitching room. I thought I was in the bitching room. That's what I said. So now after that, Robert Taylor comes up and he tells two jokes. Both of them are pretty decent jokes. The first one I can't remember, probably because he didn't ask for any help on it. The second joke, it's old, but he refurbished it his way. And he said something about if you're driving south, driving from the south to north on 95, you've probably seen the signs for south of the border. South of the border is what happens if Taco Bell were a hate crime. Okay, I thought that was amusing. I chuckled. Barry really liked it a lot. And so what Barry said was, oh, no, I'm sorry. Then Robert says, I want some tags for this. I want some tags for this. And so people start adding adding their bits, this is adding their tags and stuff. And then they said, anybody else? And anybody else have anything? And I said, and I prefaced this. I said, okay, this may be a little bit unethical for some of you, or maybe even sensitive. I said, but I think what I would do is, instead of saying they have a carry out, they have deportation. Instead of having a carry out window, they have a deportation window.
Oh.
Okay. And nobody laughed at all. Okay. Now, and that's fine. I didn't, like I said, I said to him, I said, you guys may not like this, but I think it's funny.
Well,
I think
you have to follow up with it too soon on that. Too soon, and then you're off the hook. That's
well. Anyway, so yeah, but I got silence or something like that, and then Robert immediately said something like, "Well, this joke isn't about Taco Bell," and I didn't say Taco Bell.
Right.
I said, and I never mentioned Taco Bell. He goes, "This joke isn't about Taco Bell." Now, of all the other suggestions, he just went with. He didn't shoot anybody down or correct anybody. Even the guy that said something about, how about you talk about them building a wall between Georgia and South Carolina? It's south of the border, and we're going to make Georgia pay for the wall. Okay, well, south of the border is at the North Carolina-South Carolina border. He didn't go like, just says, well, Robert just corrects him.
Oh my God! Please. This is torture. Here's basically what we're learning is this Barry Katz thing about becoming a famous comedian is full of terrible comedians. I'm sorry, Robert, that your first joke sucked, and the taglines that we're hearing now. Of course, we're hearing it through the telephone of GD, but you should just come to Coffee with the Dog and just say, "Let me bitch about your bio," and you'll get more productive advice out of that. Oh my God, this is people are wasting money and hours of time in this nonsense. Fucking crazy. No wonder comedy sucks. I'm out. I'm sorry.
So that's like I said. So his reaction to me was slightly different than everybody else's reactions, even the ones who had like really bad.
Like they were like my reaction. My reaction.
Did Blind Mike write those jokes?
Huh?
Did Blind Mike write those jokes?
Blind Mike is not.
I couldn't see the punchline anywhere.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
That's funny. You shouldn't make fun of somebody's disability, you fucking gimp. I'm sorry.
I can't run from him, but he'll never see me coming after him. So I mean, it's a fair fight.
I didn't. And what really upsets me is that I didn't get a chance to ask Ed DeBass about the picture that he took with you, Stephen. Because I was going to ask him. I was going to say, because he couldn't see it. What they did was what happened was Barry got him on FaceTime, and so Barry did this so that we could see his phone, so we could see Ed's face, but Ed couldn't see us.
I see.
And so the picture of you and him together, he wouldn't have seen it. And I was just going to ask him. I said, when you were in Summit City, we get Summit City Comedy Club. You performed with Stephen the sitcom Ortiz, and you sat on his lap after the show. And now Stephen wants to know why you never called him back. He thought y'all made like a love connection, So I was gonna ask him, but since he couldn't see the picture, it would have been stupid,
Yeah, it wouldn't have made sense then. No,
right.
It's not like we're allergic to stupid around here. I mean,
especially
stupid is our
thing. Hole.
Yeah.
And so I decided that if I got a chance to ask him a question, and I didn't get called on, that's it. And see, I'm used to that. I'm used to not getting called on. I'm still not certain why he invites me. Matt, you asked me, why does he invite me? And I don't know.
He invited me.
You add a little filler to the group.
Yesterday. Going through my email, I got an invitation to that thing. I haven't been there in like over a year. I don't know why I'm still getting invitations to that stuff. And like, what would I contribute to that? Nothing.
I also got an invite to it also.
And it's occurring to me now, but just because it says GD, it may be just automatically generated, and it just
yeah. The email is from it uses Aweber, and it just inserts your first name from the database.
So from now on, I'm not going to think that he actually wants me there. I just assumed that he wanted me there.
I think he feels obligated since you're one of the few people who put a few shekels in his kachink box. Boy,
well, I'm pretty sure that my shekel contribution has expired. I think he still has me in as a bronze member. Actually, he redefined what the membership.
No, I could definitely see that it expired because it's been over a year. But I'm just saying he probably feels a little bit indebted because you're like one of 3 people that might have actually paid money to him, and the rest of the people are just leeching along and never like the internet. They're just taking everything that's free out there and not coughing up a cent here or there. A shekel is all he's asking. Like me, I just want a shekel. Drop a shekel in the.
He was a comedian. Wasn't he a comedian?
I don't know. Oh, Shekel Green.
Oh yeah, Shekel Green. Wasn't that Shekel?
Shekel Green. Yeah. Earlier I mentioned our friend Ron Kane. You guys remember our friend Ron Kane, don't you? You remember him?
I don't remember a friend Ron Kane. I remember Ron Kane. You're saying he was a friend also?
Well, I use the term lightly. I mean,
okay, because the last time I talked to him, he just seemed to just rip me a new one about my talentless show or something.
Is he on the Blind Mike Project?
No, he was on the Coffee with the Dog.
Oh,
and he was
to be fair,
yeah.
I think we started bashing you long before the Blind Mike.
But none of y'all were bashing quote my special because none of y'all had seen it.
That's true.
Wait, you have a special?
It's not special.
It's not really a special. It's more like I said, me documenting.
Yep. It's more like the soup of the day.
Right. I guess
it's the hours of bullshit.
People, no, I guess it's the equivalent of people posting like a 5-minute bit. Only my bit is 2 hours.
Right.
It's not like the best television or anything like that. But I probably won't get to that point. So I'm documenting.
The best television is the Samsung 59-inch flat screen.
They were good. Although I have an LG. I have an LG 63-inch flat screen.
Well, my latest YouTube shorts at 3,300 views.
I'm trying to talk about our friend Ron Kane, and I just can't.
You keep saying friend. How did this happen? I'm just
you're losing us at friend, man.
Yeah, just say his name.
I don't have many friends at this point in life. It doesn't take much to qualify to be my friend. If you say hello to me, I count that as being a friend.
You got a black guy.
Right now, all of your friends are at Weed World. Matt goes like, my good friend, my dealer.
I told you I was talking to the guy as if
didn't even know who
you got to see the interview I did with Richie. And I was talking to Richie and didn't realize it until I was driving home. Like, was that Richie? I was just telling about Richie. I am Joe Biden.
And Richie's thinking, are we selling him too much weed?
No more white weed for him. Put that like my bud tender. Okay, cut him off. He's that too much.
No more white weed for the white man.
So you know how our
white man, evil.
Our acquaintance Ron Kane, how he likes to go to TikTok and find these videos of people pouring milk over their head or people pouring clams over there or whatever. He finds these things on Long Island now. If you do that, you get arrested. There was a guy who arrested yesterday. He went to he poured a dozen raw eggs over his head at some place. Then he went to another place and poured I forget what prankster. Let me pull up this thing.
Okay, first of all, isn't like a dozen eggs that's like the equivalent of that's grand larceny, isn't it? I mean, that's no wonder he got arrested.
I think Vasquez dumped 21 eggs on his head.
Oh shit!
Ralph's Italian Ices in Centereach. Then he left the eggs and the eggshells outside the store on April 29th. Then the next day he went and poured a bucket of beans over his head at Wingwa in Centereach. And then he asked homeowners to use their bathrooms and recorded the inside of their bathroom without their permission. and posted this stuff. But they weren't in the bathroom. He was just showing their bed in their medicine cabinet and all this stuff. And those videos he posted to TikTok, and they're calling that a surveillance crime and unwarranted surveillance or unlawful surveillance crime. And so this is the thing now. TikTokers are not allowed to actually
Who's letting total strangers into their unless these aren't strangers, but who's letting? I'm sorry, if somebody came to my house and asked to use my bathroom, if they weren't one of my neighbors, you know, maybe I let them use the basement bathroom. I would escort them, but there's nothing in there for them to
Yeah, I hear you. I probably wouldn't either. But if I did, and I wasn't in there, and they were just showing the inside of my medicine cabinet, I'm not going to file a police report over that.
I would.
No, but it's I can also see I can see it though.
It's on your address and phone numbers on these things. If you have
medicine in there, I don't have actual medicine in my medicine cabinet. I should have prefaced it by saying that I have a toothbrush, a razor, I don't know, feminine products, I guess, because I'm.
That's so cute, man. Did you still use feminine products?
Yeah,
I thought that you.
So you have a guy comes in, and then he shows the world your tampons and everything. Yeah, he's gonna be. I'd be upset.
Well,
but I mean,
that would be a way for me to monetize, get a sponsorship for a tampon company, even used by Tampon Napo or whatever. No, what's the big deal?
Get your flow with Napo.
I would probably let them use because I've had workers at the house, and I'll let them use the basement bathroom. I mean, it's actually a very nice bathroom. I'm saying basement, but if I show you it is, you probably think it's the equivalent of, like, a lot of people's main bathroom is
you
not.
You don't have to show us. I saw it on TikTok. Vasquez was in there right after he dumped the beans on his head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he showed us your hemorrhoid medication.
Yeah, our basement bathroom is probably nicer than most people's main bathrooms, and it's huge. You know, it's big.
Nice bathroom,
but
beautiful toilet. It's very nice.
It's going to have a ripple
toilet, beautiful gold toilet. It's got the nicest toilet paper made of gold leaf toilet paper.
Wash your balls.
That's right, to wash your balls. And even the water is the best water. It's the artesian water. When we flush it, it's artesian water. Wow. It's the beautiful water. We call it the big, beautiful bowl.
So you guys don't share my not concern, just my feeling that this might have a ripple effect towards TikTokers who just this is their thing, right? They go to places like Walmart and dump milk over their head. Now that's a crime, even if they clean it up.
It should have been a crime years ago. They should have nipped that shit in the bud a long time ago. And it's not because, like, okay,
if you pay for the milk and you clean it up, where's the crime?
Okay, when has that happened? That they paid for the milk?
I don't know. This guy did. He did. He paid for the eggs. He left. He didn't clean it up though. That's
okay, but so he didn't clean it up. Yeah, so it doesn't matter if he paid for it. Then it's a different crime also. Then, especially if he didn't clean it up. You know, yeah. Say they should have nipped this shit in the bud back when that guy was making those statements and pouring the milk over his head in the Walmart and shit. They should have done that. They should have arrested his ass and anybody before him doing it, just to nip it in the bud so that it doesn't become a trend.
You keep saying nip it in the butt. Are you saying butt or bud? Because I think the expression is nip it in the bud, but you like to
I'm saying bud.
Oh, you are? It sounded like butt. Because it's more fun to nip them in the butt, I guess.
Well, you could do both. You could do both, you know.
It is.
Do both. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
At least I think I'm saying nip it in the bud. I know what the expression is. Maybe it's the way I say my D's. I don't know.
Your butt is butt. Your buddy butt. So now one thing I want, technology thing I wanted to bring to your attention, because it's very cool in some ways, but also kind of scary in some ways. I can't find a fucking clip now, so I'll just tell you.
Are you talking about the way the Ukrainians bombed those bombers in Russia?
No, let me see if
that was pretty.
Yeah,
let me see if I could.
That was
share
pretty
this
dope to
really
watch,
quick.
though.
This is Sides. Now, Sides, I have invited on the program a bunch of times. She ignores me. She doesn't want to talk to me. I think she's brilliant. What am I doing, President? I want to share screen, not. Button pushing loser. And I'm talking about myself here. So I know you think,
I was going to say, I didn't do it this time.
I know most people in the audience must be, he's talking about Steven again. But no, I'm talking about me. All right, this is
I got this wallpaper.
Wait.
You and I will see each other again. And then you realize you got the perfect take, but you didn't hit record. All you have to do is hit Shift R and bam! There it is. Because Logic is always listening, and now you can do capture record or flashback.
Now that's a problem. The OS, it's not just Logic. Apple OS is always listening, and if you so I don't know how long it listens for in a clip, but the idea is that if you have a microphone that's hooked up to your system, you can go back and push the buttons there. I think it's Control All, and it will tape in whatever it just heard. That's a privacy concern. Even though I think GD will admit that's a lifesaver from the time when you don't hit record, like you're going to do a whole hour of
it's a church of last resort. Yeah, like you're doing a whole hour of a church of last resort, you forget to hit record.
It could be a lifesaver in that instance, but in some instances, it has a nefarious use. That wait a minute, as long as, and I don't know how long it can't be like 24 hours, right? But
or if you have a 2-hour interview that you have and you forget to hit record, which I did.
Yeah,
but I see. I could see the concerns though. What if you're having a private conversation with somebody, and then somebody walks in right after and hits that button, and they have your conversation.
Yeah, I've been against those things. I mean, because of Siri and Alexis, all those devices that they have to be listening. Because if you say Siri, tell me, so that means she's always listening. She just doesn't respond until she hears Siri or whatever the trigger word is. The trigger word is nigga. Tell me, whatever word triggers her. I don't know.
That doesn't work. I call my phone that all the time.
Yeah, whatever word triggers. Yeah, a cunt. Yes, whatever the trigger word is. So they're always listening, and I've been bitching about that from the very beginning. And anybody with any intellect would have been doing the same thing.
Right, but to be fair, I think this was done with the best of intentions, not nefarious intentions. But it definitely has its.
But when does that matter? When does that matter? It doesn't matter what the intention of the person who made it is once it becomes public.
I'll tell you when it matters. When on Sunday morning when you say, okay, the show's, oh fuck, I hit record. That's when it matters.
But that's what I'm saying is, whatever their intention was, there are going to be people finding a nefarious reason for it. Guns may have had a perfectly good reason when they first started. But they probably weren't thinking. Matter of fact, I'm almost positive when the first gun was invented that somebody wasn't thinking, I'm going to carjack a Jaguar one day. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the thing. They didn't. Nobody even thought about that. I'm almost
thinking I'm going to shoot a fat Amish fuck right in his fucking ass.
I'm almost positive nobody ever, when they invented the gun, nobody said, I'm going to take this musket and hijack a plane. And I'm pretty sure that there wasn't in there. They weren't thinking that, but somebody came along and did that. It doesn't matter what your intention is. I'm pretty sure the atom bomb was just meant to find a short way to cook microwave popcorn. I'm almost positive.
No, that was designed specific. That was designed specifically to kill people.
Google Steven.
I've seen Oppenheimer. I know.
Okay.
Ask Grok, is it true that the atom bomb was invented to microwave popcorn?
I'm almost certain of it. They made Oppenheimer popcorn shortly after that.
Hey, Grok here. Go fuck yourself.
Confusing Oppenheimer with Redenbacher.
I don't think so. Okay.
All right. I have a paint party request.
What if Orville Redenbacher had invented the bomb? We were all eating Oppenheimer's popcorn.
Stop tickling yourself when you talk. That's just not good.
The thing is, if Orville Redenbacher had invented the atom bomb, when it landed, it would have gone, instead of like, it would have been like,
It would have dropped little bitty bombs everywhere.
So the bottom line of all is Blind Mike, I would love you to come back on the show, and this time you can confront GD about him calling you stupid or your people stupid. And then maybe when you bring some people with you to watch and bash me, and maybe I don't get it. We need some attention. We need clicks. We need. I got to figure out how to work the shock jock thing because I'm not good at it. Warren Green was right, and that's the bottom line. But I don't know. I probably Blind Mike is saying, "Fuck those guys. I'm done with them. I gave them the 3 clicks they're gonna get."
I say we have a cripple fight and we figure it out that way. Fuck it up. Let's go. Yeah, cripple fight. Me versus the blind guy.
There's only
one
cripple here. Blind is not crippled.
Blind is a disability, sir.
It's a disability, but it's not crippled. But
it's
also
might as well be.
It's like he's legally blind, and I really didn't get to what because he can see the captions, right? You can see the captions.
Are you telling me this is
if they're large enough? Maybe if they're large enough, I don't know the answer to that.
This sounds like stolen valor. Is what it sounds like.
In the beginning, when he first started reviewing my thing, he didn't realize that the closed captions were actually they weren't closed captions like following the script. They were comments I was making. And he didn't realize that in the beginning. Someone else had to point that out to him. So I don't know if he was willfully ignoring them, assuming that they were closed caption, or if the print wasn't large enough for him to notice it. I don't know the answer to that, and I didn't ask him.
All right. So why don't you guys? I'm going to try to rehook up the Rumble here and get them on for the second hour, so that Dylan will be on Rumble as well as all the other networks, because somebody fucked up. Somebody with a bald head and a big, ugly, stupid mustache fucked up the connection here. I don't know. Steven's mustache isn't really that big, is it? But
no,
so
it's not.
You guys can tickle yourselves or talk amongst yourselves while I try to push a few buttons here and get this straight out.
Now, so Stephen, is Joni Ernst one of your? Wait a minute, you saw Joni Ernst's comments about everybody's going to die?
Stephen doesn't even know who she is, right?
I don't know.
I don't.
Oh, okay. She's a senator, and I'm trying to think of where she's a senator of. Joni Ernst. I don't remember.
Oh, is she the lady that said? Is she the lady that said everybody dies anyway? So what's the point?
Yeah. Yes. That's,
okay.
That's
I've heard the statement online now.
Yeah, and that's why she said the thing that everybody dies. That's why I put that in there.
Everybody dies.
Okay, so she's Iowa. She's Iowa's senator. Now, did you see her apology?
Oh. That's a.
Is what I wanted
I didn't know she had an apology. Tell us.
Made an apology, and she says something to the effect of, "I apologize. I didn't realize that it was going to be such a surprise to people that everybody dies, and I'm glad I didn't tell them. And I'm glad I didn't tell them about the Easter Bunny."
What about the Easter Bunny?
That's just it. It's a cliffhanger. I don't know what it is about the Easter Bunny. I was hoping Steve was going to answer. What it is about the Easter Bunny that she's not telling us? Is he
fucking cliffhanger? I'm telling you. Yeah, she knows how to monetize.
What they don't tell us, what they're not telling us, is that the only reason the Easter Bunny poops out chocolate eggs is because it's only after Santa Claus sodomizes them.
Whoa!
Over the winter season.
That's the Easter Bunny. That's the
I'm
sorry, I made a mistake.
That's the
secret. It's not the Easter Bunny. No, it's not. I misquoted. It's not the Easter Bunny. It's the Tooth Fairy. I think she said Tooth Fairy.
I think it was the Easter Fairy.
Okay.
I think it's
the Tooth Fairy secrets. The Tooth Fairy secret's a little. It's way calmer. She's stealing everyone's teeth and trading them for black tar heroin.
Yeah. So, but it's the Tooth Fairy.
You want tags for that joke, Robert? I mean,
it's not a joke. It's the truth. I can tell you right now. Tooth Fairy on the street corner hooking himself out there for black tar heroin and gay frogs.
Gay frogs. All right, fucking.
I'm going to Google her and Tooth Fairy because I think it's a Tooth Fairy thing that she.
I don't know. I just don't know. No wonder the radio's numbers are very small today. I didn't share the radio stuff. Whatever. I suck.
Oh my god!
I suck. I just suck. You knew that. I don't have to tell you.
Bald-headed fuck.
So
that's all I had.
I could do, no, it happens. I've been called worse. Believe it. You're probably
I know.
shocked.
Plus, I like
who would call him names.
Oh yeah,
I know.
It's the
I think they're great. I felt bad immediately saying that. So
no, the Tooth Fairy once called me a bald-headed fuck, and that was really weird. Steven has a mustache. This is the question from the chat room here. Technically,
I do. This camera sucks. It's there.
Hair
it's
lip.
there.
It's called a hair lip. Called a hair lip.
It's not. I'm not hair lip Steve. That's disrespectful.
Now I have to say your hair grows pretty fast, though. I've noticed because you go from bald or clean shaven to having a full beard, and I don't even know the full beard, an Amish full.
Matt,
beard,
I believe you received something from John Beavers, by the way.
I did, but it's this fucking that fucking. This bud if
I'll be right back, guys. I gotta get my DoorDash. Give me just a second.
DoorDash.
I'll be right back.
This fucking
my
hungry,
DoorDash is here.
fucking fat fuck is gonna eat on this program. Is that DoorDash?
I don't understand. You're at home. Why do you have to order food? You're at home. Just cook something. Fix something.
To be fair,
he's got a picture of a sandwich behind him. Surely he got that sandwich somewhere. He took the picture of it. It's like, doesn't he have the ingredients for that sandwich in his fridge already?
Go ahead, add the mayo. What is that? Is that like a sexual reference or something? Go ahead and add the mayo.
We'll have to ask Steven when he gets back. I mean,
you say he's at home, but technically he's really homeless. Somebody is providing him a couch. He's not really. He doesn't have a home. He's a sad character. No, I'm wrong.
Stephen, two things. First of all, Mr. Beavers says, I have a good job and I can't afford DoorDash. What the fuck? And number two, why does that sign say, go ahead, add the mayo?
That's exactly what I'm concerned about. It sounds like a sexual reference or something, some kind of.
Oh, it is.
It is? That's disgusting. You're disgusting.
Look at the sandwich. Look at the sandwich. The sandwich needs mayo.
We can't see the whole sandwich. You have to. A third of the sandwich is cut off at the bottom, and a good portion of it is blocked by your name tag.
And you know about mayo.
Fucking long. You know, Steven, the sitcom Ortiz at the sitcom. Yeah,
fucking
take out the
critics.
Yeah, just take out the quotes, the at, and all the S's, and make it a lot shorter.
Now, GD, come on. He said mayo. That's your cue. Come on, mayo. I can't believe. Think of Blazing Saddles. Come on, mayo.
There's the whole sandwich.
I got nowhere to go. I got no place to go.
Oh, yeah.
Mayo.
Okay. I forgot that was his name.
Yeah. Well, Lou got
Matt and GD, I'm here at Only Alien Cannabis Company in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and with me today is Master Bud Tender, Caitlin. How are you today, Caitlin?
Good, good.
Tell me, Caitlin, do you know who Steven the Sitcom Ortiz is?
No.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him? Do you imagine that he's a fat potato-looking motherfucker, ginger, who can't grow a mustache and is codependent and always has to have a woman in his life and is really not that funny?
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
Wow.
Well, it looks like once again that Steven the Sitcom Ortiz, comedian, isn't making a dent in the comedy field at all because nobody knows who the Steven the Sitcom Ortiz is. Wouldn't you agree, Caitlin?
Absolutely.
Even now that I've told you about him, are you even remotely interested?
Not even the slightest.
And no one else is either. I'm the Beef Man for Coffee with a Dog on My Dog TV. Back to you, Matt and GD.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Now, first of all, we don't have to bleep the fuck because everybody knows Steven the fuckity fuck. But I know Beaver looked like he could kick Blind Mike's ass. I'm just saying. He looks like a guy who could kick Blind
John
Mike.
Beavers is a fucking beast, and Blind Mike is not. So
Beaver beast, the Beaver beast, the beast of the Beavers.
And you know, people don't hear about me when they're up in the fucking hillbilly fucking hills of Michigan, I
don't
wouldn't
think
hear of anything
people don't
either.
hear about you unless we can find a way to monetize this whole conflict, the war in podcasting universe. I don't know if you've heard about it. I don't know if you heard about it.
We may be able to help resolve the conflict if we would just stop gratuitously adding blind Mike into sentences. It's like gratuitous sex or gratuitous violence. We don't need that, you know.
I think we do. You want to bleep out the blind Mike? We got a bleeper for every time we say blind Mike.
No, just say Ed. Instead of saying blind Mike, just say Ed. Now
I
that's
like
the
Mike.
Okay, now having said that,
I thought we were going to have a new friend, a possible comrade, a ally out there in podcasting world, and you are trying to burn down all our allies, all our friends, and while you're making friends with dictators like Barry Katz and all these Katzes that you're
dictators.
Believe me, if you ask Barry Katz, he would probably tell you that I'm not making friends with him, or at least I'm not making a dent at friendship with him.
Right. Because he has a tape of you peeing on a hooker or something.
I didn't pee on the hooker. The hooker peed on me, and it cost good money. That's why we recorded it. That's why there's a tape. Moments like that, you won't record it for posterity.
What about
how he got a hand on how he got the tape? I don't know. He has more influence than I thought. Than I realized.
I'm seeing Toomey, aren't I seeing Toomey? No, I'm seeing who was that? Oh, that's. How do I remove that? Remove.
Also, for the record, John Beavers. The only thing I'm dependent on women for is the only thing I'm dependent on women for is to get me off. All right, that's it.
No,
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that you used women so that they could make babies, so that the babies could get you off. But I guess I'm wrong about that.
Oh my God, no! Nobody wants to make babies in this day and age.
I meant children. Well,
whoa!
No, oh my God, GD, you son of a bitch! You know we went almost the whole episode without calling me a pedophile, and you had to go there.
First of all, I don't know if you're calling my mother a bitch or my father a bitch. One of them was, and I just want to make sure you're calling the right one a bitch.
Both of them. Do something.
Oh, shit. Oh, see, now you
we don't need an external war. We're having a war going on right here.
I know you haven't seen my first comedy show. I know you didn't see it because I meant the distinction between those two. It was a guess and you failed.
They're just gonna extend just keep adding new stuff. 10454. Now, where is 10454? You got any idea where 10454 is? 10454. That's the zip code, yeah. 10454. Where is that?
Connecticut.
I'm thinking, yeah. It sounds like a Norwalk thing. Wow, look at GD knowing his zip codes.
Not on purpose.
Listen, John. It was implied that I didn't want to do anything to them. I don't want to make them or do anything to them. I just want their moms. Moms are hot. It's cool. It's fine.
Southeast New York. I'm sorry, not Connecticut. Southeast New York. It's the Bronx. I ain't doing no fucking paint party in the Bronx. They'll rob my brushes. They'll rape me, anally rape me, and send me home crying. Well,
I don't think they send you home after they anally raped you. I think your body would turn up in a dumpster. I'm sorry, a cumster. What's it called? A cum dumpster.
A cum dumpster.
I think after they raped you, your body will wind up in a cum dumpster for somebody to find later.
So what you're saying is I should say no to this?
No, I think you should go. It's probably good money. you probably get combat pay. Do you get combat pay for going into neighborhoods like that?
I would really like to do, because this is actually next Thursday, so it's like the continuation of my never-ending giggity gig gaggity googity giggity ga. But the Bronx, you know what? I accepted one in Brooklyn. That's far enough. Brooklyn is far enough. Right?
Oh, speaking of Brooklyn,
probably.
Speaking of Brooklyn, I did receive that information about the agent that you sent me.
Yeah.
There's no email in there.
Really?
I didn't know. No email.
I think it was. Hold on.
I checked twice. I didn't see an email. I saw a website, 3 phone numbers, an address, but no, I didn't see an email.
All right, I'll say it right on the air, fucking, so everybody can fucking.
Welcome to Boomer Corner, the only corner.
If his email ends in his .com address, just tell me the first part before the @ and I'll just add. And I'll just add the.
It does. It's his full name, so it's the .com, his full name.com, right? But it's JPR at his full name.com.
JPR. Okay, got it. Okay.
It's in there. It says series sentence, whatever. I don't know how you didn't see it. Well, I don't know how I saw it, to be honest with you, because I am blind Matt. I don't know if you knew this about me, but I'm legally blind and deaf.
I looked at that thing twice, and I saw his website, but there was no text before the website.
That's weird. Anyway,
you're not blind Matt.
I'm blind Matt, deaf Matt. I'm a little bit dopey Matt, dumb Matt, whatever, mute Matt.
No, you are.
Must be the Monopoly guy.
It's just so fucking old. It's just so old. Come on, find a new. What? Why am I the Monopoly guy? Why? Why do I have to be? I don't
know. We could change it to Scrooge McDuck.
Are you high right now?
So, with all the revamping that StreamYard did they give us more room for media assets, or do we have to start deleting shit?
No, I took out. Remember that long tribute to Matt Nappo that was like 12 minutes long? I took that out, so there should be enough space now to add some things.
But I thought it was like a number, not like memory.
No,
size.
it's 100 gigabytes, I think.
Oh, I thought it was 100 things. I didn't know.
Yeah, I think they might have a limitation on assets too, but that was one big asset one big fat asset I took out of there. I could take some of the more stuff of this.
I was just curious because I took 2 assets out. I took 3 assets out, but I put 2 assets in.
You big fat asset.
And then, I just took out my Norm asset the other day. So now we won't have Norm anymore. We won't have Norm to kick around anymore.
Yeah.
That's
we
good.
Still got all these things. Ron has this clip of Trump in there. Like, we're never going to use that stupid clip, are we? This thing.
What's abyss? I hardly knew her. I love the Bible. My Bible has so many sticky pages.
I don't need that fucking thing. Well, I'm gonna trash that. All right, so there's a little more room now if you want to upload shit. Don't become a Ron and just monopolize it. It's all mine.
Why do you think I brought it up? I was just trying to help the Reverend out and put a couple of things in there for him.
I get it. Ron is a space glutton. He's I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control. Ba-ba-dee-bee-bee-baa-ba.
Oh yeah, Pointer Sisters, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Pointer Sisters, yeah. Somebody just sent me an email about tomorrow's rehearsal. They're so excited about tomorrow's rehearsal.
Oh, okay.
So I have a show tomorrow at the Meadowbrook, and then I have to go to our rehearsal at Tony Walker's house for the Friday night show that I have, the Knock 'em Dead Luau, which is open to the public. I'm a little nervous about it. I'm a little bit nervous about everything. This is going to be one. If I make it through till next Tuesday, it will be a miracle. And,
I hear somebody's dog barking. I have a question for those of you who have animals. Today, I have to take my CAT to the VET. I cannot say those words out loud because my CAT will hide under the BED. And
so you can't take your.
Well,
Can I say it?
She can't hear you. She can't hear you.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I'm using an earbud and it's right here. It's under my hair.
From what I could tell, GD was spelling out algebra, Chinese, and Yemen, right? Yemen. Yeah.
You can't take your Chinese algebra books to Yemen?
Yeah. No. I'm wrong.
Pretty much.
I don't spell well.
I'm just wondering, am I the only one? Am I the only one that has to spell things around their CAT?
No, Melissa Etheridge is also one. So you're not the only one. You have Melissa Etheridge.
Oh, okay.
My dogs that I used to have, for a while we could spell things like outside or walk, for example. But eventually we started spelling it, and then the dog started figuring out what we were spelling.
Yeah, that's how the dog. My dog figured out everything. We couldn't. Even words we spelled, the dog wouldn't get. Now the cat, she doesn't pay attention to the spelling part. I think. I think if she did, she would know that. Like I have her CRATE by the DOOR.
What about in French? Can the cat? I don't know.
I don't speak enough French around the house for the cat to get it. And my wife,
yesterday you were on a thing about animals being adopting the language of their owners. And
right, yeah, understand the language of their owners.
Nobody believes that. Everybody says you're a fucking liar, but we knew that. We knew you were a fucking liar, right? Didn't we know that?
That kind of hurts, you know.
Fucking liar!
Oh. So can we monetize that?
Fucking liar!
The hurt, I mean.
Oh no.
Yes.
See, what's in the box? Now, when I noticed when our friend Mike,
Ed.
His chat room people
Mm-hmm.
send them money during their chat, like, another $5 from here. Well,
right.
Our chat room people take money from us. They break into your house, they steal your beer, your white weed.
Do you have the things enabled for people to donate while we're on the air?
Of course I do. It's not like it's never happened. Just Paul did it like 4 years ago. But he seems to get it every show, and I'm just wondering why we are getting ass raped while he's doing the ass raping. Maybe that's a bad analogy.
We have different clientele.
It's
cheap fuckers.
Yeah.
I was gonna say no. I was gonna say our people actually have to pay rent and mortgage and stuff, and so they don't have. They're not living in their mom's basement, so they don't have expendable.
Do we know this?
But I'm not going to say that because that would be a presumption that they have mothers.
Well, thank you for providing me the opportunity to maybe throw some gas on the fire.
No, I was saying I'm not saying that.
No, I want to throw some gas on the fire. I deliberately
prefaced that by saying I'm not saying that.
No, but you did say that some our people have jobs and whatever, mortgage or whatever.
I'm saying I'm not.
I know. I'm just taking a tangent here because earlier in the chat room, Mr. Slaptail said something about I have a good job and I can't. What did he say? I have a good job and
he has a good job, but he can't afford DoorDash.
Right. Oh yeah, he can't afford DoorDash.
Which is also why he didn't stay when Mike came on the air, because he was at work. He had to go back to his job.
I don't think he was pussying out at the bottom line. I mean, that whole thing was just a misunderstanding. I do think.
I agree.
I think Slaptail actually does owe Mike a little bit of an apology to say I'm sorry I called you a pussy. I was wrong because he wasn't a pussy, right? So
John wants war.
Right. Well, here's the thing now, because Steven forwarded me something where a guy was actually making fun of John's profession. He's like nurse practitioner or whatever he is. So, I mean, if that's some gas on the fire to start this, we need controversy to sell. I mean, I'm not above just like doing awful things for 25 cents here or there.
Well, speaking of hot. And you did say hot, right? I thought you said hot.
I don't know if I said
we
hot.
have the very hot Dylan Brody.
Why don't you do the honors of doing the introduction? Because, my eyes are going, I can't read. And I would just say Dylan's a genius, a very creative person. And the only negative thing I could say about him is somehow he became acquaintances or friends with G.D. Fenderson, which is a stain on his very lovely reputation. But why don't you do the intro for him?
I will read what Matt has written here.
Does it say about Brody, on his reputation?
Yeah. Dylan Brody is a U.S. humorist, playwright, author, and comedian. In 2005, his play Mother May I won the Stanley Drama Award. He has appeared on A&E's Comedy on the Road and Fox TV's Comedy Express, and has written for Jay Leno's Tonight Show monologue. Now, that's where it ends. I'm going to add the following. He's probably the most prolific entertainer that I know. No, he's definitely the most prolific entertainer I know, and he's probably the most prolific entertainer that I've ever heard of. He's very talented, very funny. He has forgotten more about comedy than I would probably ever know. And he's one of only 2 comedians that actually have occupied some space in my head when it comes to entertaining and trying to perform my craft.
Wow.
And we left out the fact that he's also a mentor and a tutor, and he has, we'll talk about all this stuff when he gets on here. Ladies
He's not on air yet. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he is on air yet. Yes. Good morning, Dylan. Thank you for being here.
I'm happy to be here. Hi, gee, what an intro that was. Wow.
Yeah. You know, he stole humorous from you. He uses that himself now because you use it. This is how much he loves you. He decided, well, Dylan's a humorous. I could be a humorous.
Okay, in all fairness, one correction. I chose that because of Will Rogers, not Dylan Brody.
All right,
but
fine.
If I had known Dylan Brody at the time, I would have, said fuck Will Rogers.
Right.
Dylan Brody's much better.
I only call myself a humorist because I do not stick to a strict 5-to-1 laugh per minute ratio, and I don't want audiences to be disappointed. If I say I'm a comic and then I'm doing a long story that doesn't have a laugh for a minute and a half, then rightly audiences can start to get edgy and go, oh, that's not what we expect from a comic. So I just give it the different title so that they are let off the hook from feeling like I have to get a laugh all the damn time.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of pressure, and I think that GD can relate to that because he doesn't get a laugh.
Hey, now.
All the time. I said all the time. Last time I talked to you, you were hitting open mics as a singer-songwriter. Right?
I structured a whole show using the guitar. I used to do a lot of nesting of stories within stories. I would start a recent story, and then just as it's getting interesting, I would be reminded of a story when I was younger, and then I would tell another story, and then I would wrap the first story up, and they would inform each other, and it was a structure that I used. And in my new show, Thinking Aloud, that I was just beginning to develop when we last spoke, I nest stories and songs. So I'll open a song, I'll start doing a song, and then I'll interrupt it and keep the music going behind a story. And it gives a whole different kind of texture and richness to what I'm doing. It requires pretending that I am not incredibly self-conscious about my musical skill.
Well, it's also pretty difficult to talk naturally and just keep like a musical background going by yourself. It's not a natural thing.
It took a lot of work for me that's why I was doing the open mics, because I wanted to be able to develop the skills set. Part of the reason that I have no career is that every time I develop a new skills set and put it on display, as soon as it's on display and people are responding to it, I start to feel like it's just a trick that I've learned. I got to do something bigger, something better, something more interesting. This isn't real anymore. This is now just me doing a thing I learned how to do for praise, and that feels dumb.
Wow, you just described my life, my entire life, and then ended it with, and that feels dumb. And that's how come I feel dumb all the time. You're like a psychologist also. I didn't know if you knew this about yourself.
Dylan, I have a question real quick. When you were you probably started practicing at home first before you hit out the road. You didn't want to just go out there and start learning the guitar, so you practiced at home first. The first time that you heard laughter, heard the actual laughter to which you were practicing, did it disturb you a little bit? Just not disturb you like you weren't expecting it, but like throw off your rhythm, your timing.
Not at all. First of all, when you say practice, I play guitar a lot at home, but I don't rehearse material alone. I wouldn't know how. When I have a new piece, there are a few people, and this is true of the spoken word stuff. I wasn't doing as much with the music. When I have a new piece, there are people who allow me to run it at them.
Okay.
So if I have a new story that I'm going to be telling, I do it about 15 times via Zoom to people, individuals. And the first 5, I'm sort of reading it, and then the next 5, I'm not letting myself read it, but I have it nearby to refer to if I need to. And then the last times, I don't let myself look at it except between the times that I'm doing it, so that if I'm telling the story to somebody, I'm forced to stay with it, even if I get lost and find my way through. And then afterwards, do the postmortem for myself and figure out what worked and what didn't, and what I need to adjust so that the transitions don't get lost and so on. With the music, I couldn't do that in the same way via Zoom comfortably. That's why I did the open mics. So the open mics were really my first rehearsals. Once I knew what the song was and what the story was that went in it.
Okay.
It was low stakes performance, but it's still in front of people. Most children have imaginary friends. I had an unseen audience. And I didn't realize this until I was diagnosed autistic a couple of years ago. But there are a lot of rules that my life ran by because I had to be in constant performance for this unseen audience. And when I have a live audience in front of me, it's sort of a continuation of that same blurry group that's been with me since infancy. So I don't get surprised by the response. I expect it. I anticipate it. When I write a good joke, I know it's going to work. And the only thing that really surprises me on stage is when something doesn't get the response I anticipate.
Yeah, that would be it's always an awkward pause when I could have sworn that was a good joke. Why aren't people even reacting? And anyway,
it's pretty rare these days that I misgauge. What will happen occasionally is like as I am human, I will occasionally, I left a word out of the setup, so the punchline didn't work, but I don't know why until I see the video later. Or there's a sound at the back of the room that I was unaware of that distracted me. But whatever it is that causes the unexpected silence, and it doesn't throw me anymore. But it's certainly a surprise when it's particularly a joke that I know has worked many times before. When one of those just falls dead. What the hell is going on in the world? How did that happen?
Yeah, and it's them. It's not you. It's me. It's not you. You are a very prolific and extremely creative guy, and this is why I was really interested in being here when you're on the program. I know you were scheduled for Thursday, but I have a show then. But I want to talk because active writing? So I have DylanBrody.com, but the active
Productions, activevoiceproductions.com,
activevoiceproductions.com. Now, what you do with that is helping other people find their voice in writing and creating stuff, as well as a kind of side to what you do for your own creative stuff. Does that help you with creativity?
Well, first of all, yes. But it's not a side business to what I do as a creative. It's all part of the same thing. The world is very dark right now. And for years I said we are living in a dark age and can only emerge into a renaissance if we all engage our most creative, innovative, inventive selves. And I forgot that between the dark age and the renaissance there's a plague. And as the plague hit, a lot of people's creativity sparked to life during the lockdown, particularly. And I realized that some of what I was doing with what was originally a live workshop, writing workshop here in LA, served a purpose towards saving the world in the way that I strive to through my creative work. That it's not just about me engaging my own creative and inventive self, but I also have some skills in helping others find their creative selves and open to the possibility of adding their voice to the chorus. And if I can do that, then part of the structure of the company It's in the management manual. Is that if anybody at my company has an idea for a way that they might save the world, and they don't at least try it, then they're a dick. Because we have to. We have to do what we can to make it a better place, or else what is the purpose of our being here? So, I am not a sculptor and I am not a painter. I'm a writer and I understand writing. So for writers who are creative, I've created a space. I have workshops, I do coaching, and then for those who can afford it, I do ghostwriting. So that anyone who has ideas that they want to get to the page and out to the world have a place where they can learn the skills to develop those ideas, clarify them, or have someone else put them on the page for publication or production. Because I think no idea should be left unspoken when we as a civilization are at risk.
Yeah, no, I do think we we undervalue what art and all the humanities do for us, and I think this is a big part of us falling back into dark ages. And there's a lot of things that contribute to that. But on the subject of creativity,
go ahead.
The reason I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts on this is because I've been down the rabbit hole of people trying to make creativity a science rather than an art, and figure out how we get people to be their most creative, how we get them to be their most productive. One of the guys who I've been listening to is a fellow named Dwayne Walker, who will be on the show not next Wednesday, June 18th. But he has a lot of theories about Renaissance people, great artists, and what great artists always do, and how great artists condition themselves to create. And it sounds like with Active Voice that you are doing something similar to that in kind of coming up with a system to find your own creativity and to make your creativity the most it can be. Do I have that wrong, or is that close? Or
it's very close. Although I don't systematize this. I have a system for myself, but I believe everybody's creative process is his or her own. So part of what I am striving to do with each session is open up the creative pathways for the client or the participant, while giving them permission to find their own way to their system. My father's a writer, and throughout my childhood, he was up every morning very early so that he could write for 2 hours before he went to work, because he was also a college professor. And it was every day, 2 hours every day. And as a brief tangent, when I was 8 or 9, he had a book published that was not overly successful, his first, I think. And I found him late at night weeping and feeding everything he had written into a fire.
Whoa.
Everything he had ever written, all the pages, one after another, in an antique potbelly stove in our living room, just sort of weeping and muttering to himself and burning everything he had ever written. And the following morning, he got up and wrote for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right? And every morning after. And now that he's retired, he can write a lot more. Now, that's his system, and he has always said that I don't write correctly, because I write in fast spurts, I write in marathons, I take long breaks, I don't do it the way he does. And part of what I came to the workshop with is this idea that we all do it differently.
Right.
And we all have people telling us that we're doing it wrong. And I don't believe there's a wrong way of doing it. I believe the most poorly written novel is better than the best unwritten novel.
Oh, that's pretty profound. It's absolutely true. And I could just when
like
you were
that.
talking about your father throwing the stuff in the fire, I have been there many times. I have emptied a portable hard drive of lots of work that I did, hit the trash button, and then say, "Damn, I really wish I had that one back." Let me recreate it. I didn't mean to destroy everything I created, but I've been there. I would be end up. Oh, geez, what did I do? But I
Just for
wanted
the
to run.
record, that thing that Dylan just said is from a T-shirt that I never sent him. Just so you know. Yes.
Now, are we monetizing here? And I didn't get the memo. We sell T-shirts.
I'm getting tired of Steven the sitcom Ortiz monopolizing the conversation.
He's going to go to sleep. He's on this program because he doesn't get enough sleep at night, and he comes here and he orders DoorDash. He has a nice sandwich with plenty of mayo, I might add, and then he takes a nap.
Listen. He is spouting some serious knowledge, and I am not wanting to interrupt an intelligent conversation. I will interject with my shenanigans.
Just a second.
I am preparing shenanigans and bullshittery. I just didn't want to interrupt while he was on a flow.
Just for the record, Stephen, I did give you his information. So I told you he was wise. I told you he was good, and I gave you his information to reach out to him so that he can help you. Okay, but you haven't reached out, and so that is like
I wanted to meet him first. I didn't want to be this. I didn't want to be just some random guy that's like, hey, some random guy gave me your contact info. I know you don't know me, but hey,
GD.
help me out,
I told you, say GD gave it to me. He knows who GD is, even if he doesn't.
The last time I said that, the blind mic thing happened.
I apologize, Dylan. This is what I go to every morning. We have a little infighting here.
The last time I mentioned your name, blind mic happened. Okay, so I'm not mentioning your name anymore. So,
and if you could just figure out a way to monetize that, I would be happy with it. Just. But I do want because I want to talk to you about some of these concepts that Dwayne, because Dwayne is somebody I have found a lot of respect for. Dwayne Walker, he has on the science of creativity, and there's a number of things that he says that initially I like. Yeah, that's right. And then like with your father's principle, well, it's different for everybody, isn't it? And so. One of the things he says is great artists, because he does an analysis of, you talked about Renaissance. You go through Da Vinci and Michelangelo and Rembrandt and all these guys and figure out what they're.
Michelangelo, he was a genius. He painted what, Sistine Chapels?
Yeah. But so he says that great artists create for an audience of one. When they're creating for an audience of one. Do you agree with that or disagree in any way? And what's your take on that?
That's not how it works for me. Now, by his definition, maybe that means I'm not a great artist.
That's what somebody else said. Yeah, that's.
I understand what he's saying. That is his process. I create for my unseen audience when I'm creating performance material. When I'm creating prose as well, I realize now. And there are some specific people. My mother, who's now dead, is still in my unseen audience, right? I'm always aware of her sensitivities and sensibilities at some level while I'm working. A few other people that affected me deeply in my developmental years as an artist that show up in my unseen audience. I think of them not as my inner critics, but as my inner fans, the people who dig in my mind, who dig what I'm doing and want only the best for me, right? I have a good friend who has a background in marketing, and he is always creating with a market in mind, which I find difficult and baffling. Yeah. To my mind, at that point, I would feel like I was losing my way and losing my mind, because I am trying to create. I'm trying to present an individual view of the universe, of the world. I am not trying to reflect everybody else's view of the world, which is what it starts to feel like when I think about how to sell, how to market, how to right? When we're advertising, the magic spell we're doing is very different from the spell we are creating when we create a joke or a story or a film. The spell we create as artists is designed to enhance and expand the mind of the observer and the listener. The spell that's created in marketing or in advertising or in sales is designed only to create a sense of need in the listener that they then think they can solve by paying. It's a very different spell. And I do think of it all as magic because we're creating thoughts in someone else's mind.
Yeah. You are definitely making me very reflective of when I was a young man. I did try, and this is what I take away from his statement about writing for an audience of one. I tried to write music that was not pigeonholable. It was I was really worried about being cast as just this kind of artist, this kind of writer, and so I tried to write something. Okay, I've written something that is maybe a little jazzy. I'm going to write some country. I'm going to write some blues. And I was going down trying to please every audience at once, and then I became undefinable and really worrying about the marketing aspect. Who's going to like this? Who am I going to buy it for? And when I was creating the art, and I think that is a very dangerous place to bring your creativity if you're thinking about who's going to buy this rather than can I just make something that I'm really proud of that makes a statement that I really want to express in a way, and then whoever buys it, that's a plus or the bonus on it. But I fell into that trap, and I think that a lot of us do.
Well, it's interesting. It sounds to me what you're saying doesn't sound to me at all like you fell into that trap. It sounds like a very different trap that you created for yourself in which you didn't want to be identifiable.
Right.
I was lectured years ago by one of the many people in Hollywood who said, "What you got to do is," and then told me how to fix my career. Who was upset because I don't write in a single genre. My first screenplay was adventure fantasy, and then there was romantic comedy, and then there was buddy action film, and I write different things depending on what I'm working on. And I write novels, and those are a whole different medium, and I write plays, and that's for I don't do a single thing. And one is expected, even if one doesn't focus on the market, one is expected to develop a brand for oneself and then stay within that brand so that people always know what to expect when they come back. And I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
I don't have the same thought every day. And I want to be expressing something new all the time. And if that means that in ways I am less easy to market, that ain't gonna kill me.
Right.
It's gonna reduce my financial reward, and Lord knows it has reduced my financial reward. Yeah. But if that's not what I'm in it to begin with, then I have to be sanguine with that when the result is what I intended, not what I sort of hoped.
Yeah.
Right. My intention is to get the words out, to get the ideas out, to do my best to change the world. And there's always this hope that someone will pay me.
The digital world is making that more extreme. And in other words, YouTube, the reason we don't have, one of the many reasons we don't have Joe Rogan type numbers is because YouTube wants a niche. They want you to say, and I have music, I have politics, I have comedy, I have lots of different things on my channel. YouTube hates that. They don't want you to be multidimensional.
Number 3 in science. We're number 3 in science, and we're number 69 in that pod thing.
Right. I'm not saying we're a total failure, but I'm just saying the digital world is encouraging people to become more unidimensional and just not have any. Always produce the same. Become McDonald's hamburgers and produce the same hamburger 3 billion times, and that's the way to success. And in creativity, I think that's the opposite of creativity. Now you're becoming a assembly line worker, right? And that's why we all become creative people, because we don't want to work on the assembly line.
There was I was fired by a success coach a few years ago, because what she really wanted me to do was tightly systematize the writing workshops so that they are repeatable and recreatable, and I could have other people run them, and it becomes an industry of this system for getting your writing done. And I don't believe in it. I believe that it's a process of discovery, that it's organic, that it's not a simple, repeatable process. When you talk about the loss of the humanities and the desire to turn creativity into something scientific, what we have seen since Reagan is a growing anti-intellectualism that says philosophy has no value. Where's the money in it?
Right.
The arts have no value except in as much as they can be mass-produced as entertainment, a word people use when they don't want to take responsibility for what they say. And history and science should be ignored now.
Right.
Anything that is a quest for truth is minimized, rejected, belittled, because it endangers the power that can be held over idiots who can be easily manipulated through marketing, through advertising, all through propaganda. The reduction of philosophy, all the humanities and sciences, all the quests for truth leave us with a world ripe for abuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're seeing it happen. And I find it horrifying. My grandmother was one of the creators of the original Head Start program.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it dismantled now, just, 50 years later.
One of the other principles that now I just want, because I'm going to be talking a lot about Dwayne Walker, because it's somebody I'm listening to, I'm disagreeing with, but not at a point of disagreeable. I'm very interested in what he has to say, because I think, and we kind of discussed this before you got on about intention. I think his intention is to help people maximize their creativity and use it in a way that fulfills them but he is trying to make it a science by analyzing the work of great artists. And the point that you said, well, maybe he's saying that I'm not a great artist. I think he's saying this is what great artists do as a ritual. And if you do this, people will celebrate you the way they celebrate all these great artists. At some point, they'll find you working.
I think there have been a great many great artists who were never celebrated.
I do agree with that. Absolutely.
And it's easy to forget that.
Right.
In the same way that we look at a history that is punctuated by war, and it's easy to feel as though humanity has always been at war and there has never been a time of peace.
Yeah.
Right. And then people use that to justify continuing warriorism.
Yeah. War. Just don't get me started on war, because at its core, war is murder, and we try to make it clean and acceptable as this is acceptable murder. And the more we do that, the more it sustains the fact that we will be always, as long as we have that attitude that there is a justifiable murder, or some murders are okay, we're going to keep murdering each other. So that's just ugly. But so one of his other principles is, and this kind of gets me, because he describes me in this principle that he states is, throw yourself into creativity with all your energy. Don't worry about, it's kind of a long statement he made. Don't worry about finishing one project and starting another. That you let your creativity just flow and do as many creative things as you possibly can. And I do that to the point of, wow, I have things that are 5 years old now, 7 years old now that I have one thing that's 22 years old that I'm still working on finishing. So I'm not sure if I understand where he's coming from.
He's talking about his marriage. That thing that's 22 years old, he's trying to finish. He's talking about his marriage.
No, I meant this question is 22 years old, and I'm still trying to finish. But do you find?
I was wondering if it got better.
Does any of that resonate with you? Like, work on many projects at once, or is that? I know you're going to say it's all personal too. Everybody's different, but I feel like there's yes and no about that. What's your take on it?
I work on a lot of projects at once. Once I get traction on something, I sit with it till it's done. That's just how I do it. I always have a new song that's developing. Sometimes it's just I've got a riff that's coming together. I don't know what goes over it yet. Sometimes I've got a little bit of a lyric happening over there. One of the things I talk about with all of my writing clients is the creation of a second document to keep open on your desk, whether it's a second notebook if you write by hand, or a second document on the computer if you work at the computer as I do. As I am writing, I have a second document open all the time, into which I put all the ideas that come to me as I'm writing, all the thoughts about stuff that comes later in the document that I haven't gotten to yet, but I know I need to do so that I can check it later to make sure I got everything in there that I'd thought of on the way, and also other thoughts. So when I get stuck and I don't know what comes next on the page, I move to the second document and I'll sort of start to journal and ask questions about what I'm writing and what the intention is and so on until I know what comes next. And within that second document, I will frequently have 3 or 4 other ideas that I then want to put aside to, oh, that's a play that I thought of while I was doing, oh, that's an image for that movie that I'll have to write into there. So my brain cannot fully shut off everything else that I do. But while I'm working on, say, a novel that I'm just going to be, I know where it's going now, and I'm just going to be on that for the next several days, I'll be putting in 10 or 16-hour days on the novel. And other ideas just go into that second document to be thrown into other work wherever it, to be categorized for use later. I don't think of that as working on 3 things at once, although I suppose I frequently am. So in answer to your question, yes.
Huh. Does it make you a more creative person by doing that? Does it maximize your own personal creativity to pull yourself in many directions?
I have no idea. It minimizes my non-creative productivity, and that's really what's important. It seems to me that much of people ask me how I am so prolific, and my stock answer is that I labor under the crushing urgency of mortality.
Yeah,
but that's not all it is. I am not good at doing the things that most people do to earn a living. Like, I don't function well in a cubicle or an office space. I don't handle a work environment well. And in order to justify my existence, I feel I must constantly be putting out creative material, because I am not creating material wealth.
Right, you're not working on the greatest new widget for America to consume that they don't really need. You're fine. Now, for me, what you just said resonates with me, because I, even though I've taken many careers along the way that are not necessarily tied to the arts, I do feel like what drives me is the will to not grow up, to not play by rules, to always be creating stuff. People say, well, to me, why do you write songs and do paintings and all this stuff? I'm just trying to have fun. And mortality is part of that. I know my time is limited here. I just want to stay a kid until the end. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to today I want to paint and write music, and I want to go out and just perform and whatever. And none of that feels like work. That feels like playing. And that's what I want to do with my life. Is that so bad?
Oh, Matt, that was beautiful. Aw. Yeah. I almost wanted to hug you for a second. Then I realized you're Matt Napa and I got grossed out. I'm sorry, Dylan. Back to you.
Up? Did your sandwich just arrive? I'm sorry.
Robin Williams used to talk about this. He used to talk about the need to remain crazy, to keep a spark of insanity. and it's people love, the audience loves this, right? They love that idea that somebody is committed to creativity, and for some reason they don't embrace it.
Yeah.
I don't, I am baffled by the number of people who talk about how much they want to create things and don't.
Right. And how difficult is it to get started? Really, I think the fear of I'm not good enough, my work won't be appreciated by anybody, keeps people from even taking one paint stroke, one playing one note. It's just like I'm just not going to be good enough. Why should I even bother? And I think that will stifle you.
80% of my therapy has been me paying someone to remind me that the creative process is inherently anxiety producing. And I start all of the writers' workshops and most of the coaching sessions with breathing exercises that I developed as a martial artist. Because I'm non-athletic. I was an asthmatic kid. I didn't start martial arts until I was an adult, and it created a lot of anxiety for me. And I would do they're meditations that I created for myself that I could do while I was waiting for class to start, so that I wouldn't act out toward the people around me out of my own anxiety and discomfort when I started. And I continued to do it throughout the time. It would be sort of the zone where I put myself into the zone for training, to be in this study that I wasn't entirely comfortable with. Yeah. And when I realized that what I had created was a way to get past my own anxiety and study something out of my comfort zone, I began applying it to the creative process. And the breathing exercises that I created originally for myself and then shared with the students at the martial arts studio have become the heart of what I do. For the first year or two, I believed that all the writing drills and all the exercises and all the literary work that I did with the workshop was window dressing to get people to do the breathing exercises to get past the anxiety of the creative process. I've learned there's some value in the other stuff as well now, but really the breathing exercises were where it started. Because until we can let go of that anxiety that it's not going to be good enough, someone's going to judge me, it's not going to sell, or it's going to sell and then everyone's going to know me, which is the other end of the anxiety on it.
Oh, yeah.
Until we can set all of that down and get down to one sentence at a time with joy, we can't get the writing done.
One sentence at a time with joy. I think, give me a B on that. Give me a B. Yeah.
That's on the other t-shirt that I didn't send him.
Yeah. Good stuff. Now, performance. For me, performance is not necessarily creativity. It's demonstrating the thing that I've created for people. But I think it's a vital part. It's a vital part of, I don't know, consummation of the marriage of creativity in some way. It's just saying that, okay, I've gone through all this to create something. Now I have to put it out there for people. Do you feel like it's a necessarily part of the creative process to put like a cherry on the cake of okay, I've written something, now I need to perform it?
Yes. One of the great frustrations for me is that I have screenplays and plays that have not been up yet, that have not been shot, that have not been seen, right? The reception of the work matters to me more than payment for the work. Which, part of the reason that my career is what it is. A performance piece is not done until it's performed.
Right.
A novel is not done until it's published. A screenplay is not done until it's produced. And my career has always been about trying to get the bigger stuff produced outside of my hands, which has rarely happened, while using all the money that comes in to produce and create the stuff that I do on my own to get to audiences that I can in ways that I can afford, which is it's how Corona Dialogues, the series got started that turned into a movie. Lockdown 2020 won a lot of awards. You Are Here, a Dylan Brody project, available at circuitcinema.com. Now streaming, You Are Here, a Dylan Brody project at circuitcinema.com. You Are Here, I made on a budget of between $0 and not any dollars, with an extraordinary cast.
Wow.
Paul Provenza does the lead. It's got Overton in it, Rick Overton. It's got Mike Kaplan. It's got some wonderful, wonderful people in it. Kelly Carlin's in it. Beth Lapidus, who created Uncabaret, is in it. It's always for me a process of trying to get the stuff out. It's frustrating to me when it doesn't find a way to reach a large audience. Part of the difficulty that I have is that I don't like doing the booking part, right? Yeah. So I have a bunch of solo shows that are not getting as much stage time as I would like to be doing them, because I am uncomfortable on the phone because I don't know how to sell. I just know how to perform. But yeah, I think the work is not done until it's in the world.
I have a question for you then, Dylan. Yeah. Just between you and me, no one else is listening.
Nobody's listening.
No one else is listening. You've been helping me with a dramedy script that I was working on for a pilot that I was asked to write.
So he's to blame.
No, he's not to blame. He's helping me unblame
it. That's what I mean. So encouraging you.
Well, the thing is, chances are, my script will not hit the. It'll probably not be picked up or seen or anything.
That's what they're about, dude.
So, but I will have invested this time, this energy, this love into this project, and then it may sit around,
unproduced.
Don't plan for it.
Oh, I'm not planning for it. I'm just understanding that it's a possibility.
Oh yeah.
But my plan is, if the person who's asked me to write it says, something, I thought you were a better writer. Fuck this, we're not using it. Then I will probably, more than likely, make it into like a YouTube sketch or something with like voice acting and maybe puppets. I don't know, just so that it's out there.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, GD. You find the way to make it work. Listen, I was talking about Corona Dialogues a minute ago. That's corona-dialogues.com. My book, Relatively Painless, when it, I had a deal. I had a contract. I got a small advance, and it was going to be a book tour, and then Corona hit. And when COVID hit, it wasn't yet called COVID, it was called coronavirus. When it first hit and they canceled my tour and the publication contract, I went into a spiral for about 10 minutes and then used my non-refundable advance to self-publish.
Wow.
Because I wasn't just going to let the book languish. The contract included the tour, right? The only reason I was able to sell the book really is because David Sedaris had me open for him. And that gave me cred as a book tour guy somehow. Wow. So they thought, okay, we can publish the book, we'll get him on tour, we'll see if we can sell some. And when the tour couldn't happen, they just canceled the whole thing. But instead of just letting the thing fall apart, I used the money I had gotten, put the book into the world, and then I needed to do something to market it. So I created this little small two small 5-minute scenes that I could shoot with a friend on Zoom to play the two central characters in the book during COVID, right? The brother and sister during COVID, little play. We did it. And then she brought me a third episode she'd written, and I realized she was a genius and a better actor than I. So I made the whole series about the sister and kept going, kept creating new episodes. right? And Bonnie Hunt came in and played my agent in it, and there's a lot of. It turned into a project, um, but it came out of, oh, this isn't going to be published. How do I make it happen on the budget that I've got? GD.
Which is between $0 and no dollars?
Between zero and not any dollars. In this case, there was 5,000 from the original advance that I sunk into the publishing. And then the marketing was just me and a friend on Zoom. And it turned into first a 32 episode series and then a movie. And both the series and the movie won a shit ton of awards. And they were all created out of, oh, this isn't going to make it into the world. No, I want to put this into the world.
Yeah.
I don't want it to languish.
Boy, I'm full of conflict here. GD, were you just doing some filing there, or were you looking for something that you wanted?
No, I was looking for something. When Dylan had mentioned the book, I was going to grab the book out of my collection here and hold the cover up so that people could see it. And it is further back than I can reach without people just staring at my ass for 4 minutes.
I would think that would get us some
Dylan
ratings.
has the same problem.
Yeah.
I think that would get us some
Dylan
ratings.
has more copies of the book than I have because I only have one copy of the book. I had two, but I gave one as a gift to someone.
My first book.
Oh.
I don't have that book.
Oh, you should order it. It's available at dylanbrody.com/emporium. dylanbrody.com/emporium.
That's in the description, by the way. All links are to Dylan's websites are in the description. We have Active Voice Productions going by, activevoiceproductions.com going by in the scroll there, but all the links are in the description. Kind of conflicted about, not conflicted, I don't know how to describe what I'm feeling about what you just said about this idea of producing.
Loaded.
It's got to see the light of day because, and I want to get your take on this, the proliferation of garbage. I mean, people who really, I just started creating last week, and I envision myself as ready for a Hollywood blockbuster or whatever. People just get delusions of grandeur, and then they put out stuff that clearly is not great work over and over again. We have billions of people being encouraged to do this with TikTok and YouTube and all these platforms, putting out work that is not art by my measure of art, and my measure of art is my standards are pretty low when it comes to art. Yeah, that could have some artistic value, but does that help pull us back towards this dark ages when we're just having so much? And I don't want to crush anybody's dream. I understand that people want to create and have a need to create. I want to encourage that, but you don't have to publish everything that you do, especially when you're just learning and just beginning. So that's what a conflict is for me.
I am not troubled by it. There are huge platforms available for individual expression now that were never available before, and there have always been creators whose work I didn't like. I don't think every cellist should be judged against Yo-Yo Ma.
What?
I think Yo-Yo Ma is wonderful, and I love every cello. And there's a lot of stuff in the world coming out on TikTok. Yes, coming out on YouTube and YouTube Reels that is not my favorite thing. And sometimes I think the wrong person goes viral, but none of that matters because the people who do it and continue to do it will get better at it. And the people who don't continue to do it will stop doing it. And if some people do it badly early on, that's part of starting. There were always people at the comedy clubs way back when I was a regular comic. There were always some people who somehow got into the list of regulars and were doing Saturday night way before I felt they were funny enough to. And there were always a couple of people who were stuck at open mics, never getting beyond them, who I thought were fucking geniuses, who should have been getting a lot more recognition and respect.
That happens a lot.
And there's no they've done, even if I don't love their work.
I understand that. I totally get that. But my delusion is that if we had TikTok around, let's say, 1,500 years ago, or 500 years ago, I'm sorry, in the 1500s, we would have never heard of William Shakespeare, but we'd know all about like Andrew Dice Clay, and Jack and Jill Went Up the Hill and whatever. I think the attention span goes to what I think is. I don't want to call somebody else's art not worthy, but it's lowbrow. It's definitely and it drags us down to anti-intellectualism, and I think Shakespeare is more important than Andrew Dice Clay. I'm just going to say that, and I know I will draw some. I'm a fan of Andrew, believe it or not, but I just think it's important to have good work out there, and if we keep distracting people with these short, lowbrow things, that people are not going to find art that really will have an impact on humanity in for hundreds of years. And I think that's where
remember that you're saying this, Matt, because we're going to have this conversation rehashed in the near future.
Are we?
Yes, we are. I'm gonna make sure we rehash it. Yes, because of what you said about me putting my first attempt at humor, a 2-hour show, on YouTube, because I shouldn't have done it because I was just starting out. And
I said it was a bad business move. I didn't say it was bad.
But I didn't do it for business reasons. I did it to document my funny.
No, I wasn't asking what your intention was. I just would say that as a matter of business, it's not a good move to put your hour and a half out there 6 weeks into your professionalism.
Well, first, it wasn't 6 weeks. It was more like almost 2 years. I've been writing. I've been working on it for 2 years at the time I did it, and I did it because I keep writing. And if I waited for someone to come along and discover, and perfect that 2 hour, well, actually, it was supposed to be a 90-minute special. I fucked up. It wound up being 2 hours, but that's beside the point. If I waited for someone to come along and say, GD, your first 90-minute show is really nice, I would not have had the other 3 or 4 90-minute shows done, because I would have been trying to perfect that first one. And I'm just trying to document my funny, because I'm not going to live long enough to be discovered, to be, adored or recognized or whatever.
So I don't know. Is it about discovery, getting discovered?
No, what you just said about I don't want to be talked about, and that's a quote.
What?
I don't understand any of the words.
What was the quote? Bullshit.
I'm sorry, Dylan. You were just saying something. I just laughed over you. I'm sorry.
I didn't understand any of the quote you just gave. You garbled all the words of the quotation, and I want to know what it was that you were quoting him as having said.
This is what you should get together with Blind Mike and figure this out, because this is the one criticism they have of GD. He starts talking about something, and then he ends up talking about something completely different, and nobody knows what the hell his point was.
Okay, I do know what his point was. And I kind of want to engage it. GD,
yes.
The question is whether you feel... I am all for recording. I record almost every set I do. I don't always put them online. And I am all for recording and capturing and sharing and getting response to work early on. The question is, to me, not whether you put the work out too early or whether it's not ready yet. It's whether you want to burn the material. Because it took me about 4 or 5 years. Yeah, it was about 5 years into comedy before I had my first full hour, before I had a solid headlining hour. And I had a couple of opportunities. I used to do these local, it wasn't just, after a while it turned into just morning zoo radio things, but there used to be a bunch of local TV things where you would go and you would have a weekend in like Buffalo, And on the Friday, you would have to go at 3 p.m. to record a set in a television studio that they would then show, like a three joker, a 2-minute set that they would show in the evening news, local news, as part of the hey, what's going on locally stuff. And I used to have to do those, and I don't remember why I started talking about this.
Burning material?
Oh, I was afraid that if I did really good jokes, that they wouldn't get laughs that night at the club. I was afraid of burning material on the TV show, on the TV appearance, that would then somehow screw up a couple of jokes during my set that weekend. So I would try to write new stuff to put on. Like I got really weird about what material I was going to burn. And by the time when I got my first proper TV spot in '89 on Comedy Express, then I wanted to do the best stuff. That was when I said, okay, I'm willing to burn a piece, and I burned topical material.
Right.
That I knew would already had a shelf life.
Right.
Now it's become very different because with YouTube you can put stuff up, and it's, I have stuff on YouTube that's gotten 3 views. Like, unless you really put effort into getting people to look at stuff, it's just a wonderful place to archive the work. Right. So I don't think that's a big issue. But if I were going to create, if I had a rough evening, a workshop evening, I have one of those available only to people who might want to book a show that I videographed. I'm not going to pretend that that's a special, right, and put it into the world. Sadly, my first couple of specials to me feel a little bit underproduced. The first one, I had hoped that would play because it was my first, well, let's start that again. My second one, More Arts, Less Martial. I wanted it to feel very small and intimate. I shot it at a place called the Fake Gallery. An art gallery.
Food's here.
Oh, congratulations, Stephen.
Did you have enough for everybody?
No.
That mute button actually works. Mute the microphone when you want to talk about.
I have a mute right here. I hit the wrong button. It was my fault. I'm blaming myself. Yep. Button pushing full. Yep, that's my bad.
What are we getting?
You got a sandwich with
her
mayo
mom.
on it. Her mom. Oh, the AI girlfriend has a mom. Here's my thing that I am going through right now, and again, I am definitely processes for every individual, and everybody has their own. But one of the things that I'm introspective about myself is, as a creator, I have always wanted to get things out there, like as soon as I finish them, like it's ready, I need to publish it without taking a breath. And YouTube gave me that possibility, and I just think that, all right, there is things that I know that I've done in the past that I thought, this is really quality work. I put it out there, and then 10 years later, and I wasn't new when I did this, thinking of one thing. 10 years later, revisited it and refined it in a way that made it completely more professional, more presentable. And I regretted having put it out there 10 years before because I thought it was great then. I think sometimes you take a breath and you can refine your work. And even though you think it's what you want to put out at that time, sometimes sitting back and holding your breath and just not being in a rush to publish things can work to your advantage and make you a better creator, more proud of the work that you did eventually. And so for me, if I did something like that, I mentioned this yesterday, there is no one single complete body of work that I've ever published that I'm proud of. I'm proud of elements within everything, but if I had my choice now, I would have waited and refined them before I published.
Yeah. because you change, but you can't allow the fact that you are going to change and grow stop you from putting out the work that is good now.
Yeah.
The thing that you were bothered that you put out too early, if it's on YouTube, you can take it down.
I know, I did.
My novel, there's a problem in the first chapter of Laughs Last. It came out 20 years ago now, I guess. And I love the book, and a lot of people love the book, but there are things I would do differently now. But that's because I was a different person then. I thought about the work differently then. I thought about the words differently then. And I think you can. One of the issues that many writers and producers have is that they get into this thing where it's not done yet. It's not perfect. It's got to be perfect. I got to refine it more. I got to get it. Oh, somebody had a note. I got to do their note. Oh, somebody else had an idea. I got to do. Oh, it's not right yet. It's not. It's not. I have a friend who's been working on a documentary for 10 years. I've seen 3 cuts of it that are really good. Any one of them could have won awards. He's not satisfied. He's not putting it out. And that's the anxiety of the creative process.
Yeah.
Right.
I just have a question though, Dylan. If the difference between, you said you've seen 3 cuts, was there like a noticeable jump in the quality or anything that you would say?
To my mind, all lateral movement.
So is it possible that it's not, that it's a different reason that he hasn't released it? More like one or two, like maybe I don't want to put my baby out there to be judged, or well, maybe I guess that's it. I'm not going to try to think of other reasons.
The creative process hitting not before he started the project, but before he releases it. Right? The anxiety comes up over and over again. It stops some people from starting a project. It stops some people from finishing a project. It stops some people from releasing a project. And it's all the same anxiety. It's all about, tearing glistening gems from the open wound of our wit and putting it in front of other people to let them judge. And whether we're nervous about reaching into our guts to pull out the gems or holding them in front of people, it's the same fear.
Yeah. I come back to the point of, I know for me, and I'm just judging myself in this, I put too much emphasis on, are people going to like this everybody can't like everything, but our mass is going to like this, rather than what I find the most rewarding. One person, like years ago in the MySpace world, I found somebody had reposted my lyrics, and they didn't give me any credit for it, and I was a little upset about that. But it was a young girl, and I said, well, where did you even find this stuff? And she said, it just touched my heart. It was about something I was going through at the time, and I really felt it expressed exactly what I was feeling. And for me, that's one of the most gratifying and rewarding experiences in my creative life, is that one person felt compelled enough to say, this is me, this guy gets me, and without even crediting me. But that, I think I get caught up in thinking, are people going to like this, rather than is one person going to actually feel this? And that's what's really, again, if I look back on it, that's where the biggest rewards for me come from. One person going to really feel this in their heart. Am I going to touch their heart? Am I going to touch their soul with this? And that should be enough. But for some reason, I put all this extra baggage on it. Are enough people going to like it? Are people going to accept me? Or are people going to think I'm stupid for putting this out there? All those kind of things, the self-doubt. So that,
I'm fortunate. It turns out I'm autistic, so, and my whole life makes sense in a new way based on that, because I suddenly understand why I'm just so completely punchable to some people. But as a result of this, I grew up knowing that very few people are going to like me.
I kind of did too.
I am deeply off-putting to a lot of people. And I just somehow trigger a lot of people into just they want to hit me. I talk funny, or I over-intellectualize in a way that makes them uncomfortable, or I don't know what the elements are of my being that do this, but something happens, and people just want to punch me. They want to intimidate me. They want to dominate me in certain ways.
So, do you have a bodyguard now?
No, I'm a martial arts master now.
Oh,
He's
thank
his own
God!
bodyguard.
Because
He's his
Jesus
own bodyguard.
Christ, man, that's fucking horrible. I had to learn to defend myself early on because of people thinking I was punchable. Man, that shit sucks.
Yeah, what's that like? Because everybody likes me. I don't know what it is you guys are experiencing. Everybody likes me.
Well, most of the time, I deserved it because I started it. It wasn't like people think I'm as punchable per se.
Yeah,
but
I know. I heard what he said too. Everybody likes him. That's he was joking. I think that was a joke. I don't know. We'll ask him.
I don't think it was. I would be surprised if it was a joke. I imagine everybody likes GD. Most people like GD.
Oh, you haven't heard of Blind Mike or
He's a likable fella.
or Robert Taylor.
Short, so he's not going to be intimidating. He's plus he's black, so people are afraid they're going to come off as racist. You know, it gets complicated.
Yeah.
No, GD is a likable fella. GD has all the holistic qualities that that most people use every day to get along with the people around him. I don't have any of those qualities. I am not charming to one person at a time. I'm not good at it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure myself out, but I definitely feel more comfortable talking to a microphone with people I can't see out there than talking to actual people, human beings. I feel a little weird put off by talking to human beings.
One of the reasons I've done well with the workshops and the coaching via Zoom is because I can look directly into a camera and people feel like I'm making eye contact.
Hey.
I'm not actually looking at you guys at all.
Yeah.
Because when I'm looking at someone's face, I'm picking up way too much information. I realized as I started to learn about my autism, for 30 years in Hollywood, I've been ruining lunch meetings. Because when I need to listen, I look over someone's shoulder or down at the table so that I'm not distracted. And for 30 years, people thought I was conversing with them while looking for someone more interesting to come in.
Yeah.
Because in Hollywood, you don't look over the shoulder. You don't look for the celebrity. But I'm trying to hear. And it makes people think that I'm distracted or not paying attention. Like the ability to just look directly at the camera and not have to take in people's faces and have them think that I'm looking at them is a miracle to me.
Right. I appreciate your time here, and I know it's early morning, and we got you up. Because we are kind of running late here. One last thing I want to touch base with you on and get your opinion of or insight on is my experience of we're becoming a society that doesn't want to suspend our disbelief in appreciating art. We want to look at all the intricacies of how it was made rather than absorbing the piece of art and what it's meant to say to us. What is the overall feeling I'm supposed to take away from this? And especially in music, they're taking apart stuff. Oh, well, that was punched in. That was like overdubbed or whatever. And like none of that matters to me. What matters to me is how did the piece make you feel? But I think we are being encouraged to become analysts and say, well, it's not what it seemed. And I'm not sure if that pertains to writing, but it definitely pertains to movie making, television making, all these kind of things. It's not what you're seeing isn't what really happened. There was a lot of magic and technical stuff supporting it and whatever, rather than just saying, this is a good piece of art. This is what it took away from me. It made my life more thoughtful, more appreciative, whatever the takeaway is. I think we're losing that. Do you agree, disagree, or have any insight on that?
I think, well, one of the difficulties that many artists have well-educated artists like me have, is that we have been taught through academic systems to critique rather than appreciate. Now, At the same time, the mainstream media has given up any sense of critique and is now just advertising.
Right.
It used to be that Gene Siskel was part of the evening news, and he would say this movie was terrific or this movie was awful. Now nobody says this movie was awful in the mainstream media.
Yeah.
Because the only reason anybody is looking at a movie in the mainstream media is because it is part of the same entertainment empire that owns the production of the TV thing and is therefore using it to advertise the film, right? There's no real critical thinking going on in the mainstream, leaving everybody to their own devices in terms of figuring out what is good and what is bad. Now, as long as I have been alive, and I'm sure since Shakespeare's time, in fact, we know since Shakespeare's time, there are critics. There are people who say this isn't good, this is good, this is what we look for in art. This is it was Pauline Kael in the New Yorker when I was a kid, and it was trying to remember the guy's name who referred to Shakespeare as an upstart crow. But there was someone, doing it in Shakespeare's time to him, saying which plays were okay and which ones weren't. So there's always been this sort of tension between the creator and the critic. And now with the widening of platforms, with the democratization of opinion through YouTube and Blue Sky and X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and so on, the people who are critical are able to get their shit out there as easily and effortlessly as the people who are creating stuff. So there's going to be a lot of critique going on among people who are not well educated in critical analysis.
Right.
So that gets irritating. But,
yeah, it definitely does.
There are always people who, I remember Steely Dan's album coming out, and people say, well, they're calling it jazz rock, but come on, it's not really jazz just because they use a Dorian scale in one of the songs. It's not, they're not properly, there was always somebody there to tear down someone who was doing something.
Yeah.
And GD's first 2-hour special is better than any never shot imagined 2-hour special.
I don't know. You got to see what's going on up here right now. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but I can't. Right? And because
you can, I'll pull back this, and then you'll be able to see it. No, I agree with you. I'm just being stupid. You gotta
have the balls to put it on stage and do it and record it.
Yeah.
And then put it in the world, even though there's that whole fucking segment that you didn't get right.
Yeah.
Now that Trump is talking about, this is exciting for me. This has nothing to do with anything we're talking about.
Right.
I mentioned my first real TV appearance on Comedy Express. There was a segment that was cut from that. In fact, the reason I never used that video, and this is how the hypercritical thing ruins us. I never showed that around and tried to get a lot of work out of it because they cut a segment from it. And that made me think that there was a segue that should have been there. There's no connection between that line and that line. So the whole thing's ruined for me. I found out later it was cut not for political reasons, but because Colgate toothpaste advertised during the show. And the Stealth Bomber was made by the same company that made Colgate toothpaste. And it was a segment I had on the new stealth technology. It was 89, right? Yeah. Because Trump is an idiot, I now get to pull out my stealth technology material again. And it didn't get done because it got cut.
I miss you on Twitter. I know I don't know if you've gotten off that platform at all, but I used to see you on there every day. I haven't seen you every once in a while. I see you on Facebook now.
I'm over at Blue Sky. Find me on Blue Sky at Dylan Brody. I moved over. I cannot feel comfortable, and there's some promotional stuff I do on Twitter, but I can't feel comfortable adding entertainment value to a site owned by a Nazi.
Yeah, I agree. I'm reluctantly there because it brings us in. It feels like a business decision that it really makes me uncomfortable. That I have to be on Twitter in order to kind of promote this thing and get people interested. But also, I do feel like, listen, there's no people will argue with me about this unnecessarily. There is no doubt that these people are acting exactly like the 1930s in Germany. These are Nazis, and I've had a few people admit it and think that it's not such a bad thing. Like, when did that become not such a bad thing?
We are doing by plane what was done by trains in 1937.
Yeah.
During the first Trump administration, I was at a party with a man I really like, and I had just gotten back from San Diego, where I had been marching against the detention camps, and he said, "You look like you got some sun today." I said, "Yeah, I was out marching against the concentration camps." And he said, "They're not concentration camps, Dylan. We're not killing them yet."
Yet. Well, here's the deal. When it becomes, and they're trying to rewrite the Nazi history by saying this was an act of kindness to kill all the Jews because they were just going to starve to death anyway. We took too many prisoners, and what were we supposed to do? Let them starve to death or die of disease? So we figured we'd be nice to them and gas them to death.
That's right. It's terrifying and awful.
Yeah, but we are reliving this. I mean, there are people who are trying to make Nazism not just acceptable, but there was some good sides of it. Like what? Killing people because you disagree with them is never a positive thing in my opinion.
Listen, you
is if you're a Nazi.
That's right.
See, he doesn't talk much, but when he does, he says Nazi.
He says it right there. He's absolutely right on this one. I'm confused by something in the lower left-hand corner of Steve the sitcom Ortiz's screen. Do you have a sculpture of a hand wearing a watch set up on your desk?
Oh, that's not a sculpture.
No, it's just a wallpaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try not to let it bother me any further.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We won't let him bother us any further. We're actually going to send him to another planet very soon because he's a bad guy.
I hate this rock. I'm so ready.
He's a jokesy.
I'm kind of with you on that, Stephen.
Well,
people ask me about people talk about eternal life in their religious belief. I will be so mad if I die and I'm not done.
Wow, yeah.
I'm convinced. People ask me all the time how I think the world's going to end, and I tell them I don't think it'll end for any reason other than when we're supposed to die, because existence is such shit. And I swear to God, if there's a continuation after this, I'm going to figure out how to end it then too.
Nice.
All right, no, that's fine. I don't know. I'm just at my age. I live for one more day. But if I'm not done, I don't know what done means. What am I supposed to do here? I'm still wrestling with that 65 years into this journey. What the fuck am I supposed to be doing?
I don't want to die before I finish my wife's honeydew list, because that's the last thing I want to hear in eternity.
God,
she
you're
goes
so
after
whipped.
me. It's like, you never finished the such and such. I don't want to hear that for eternity if by chance we run into each other in the afterlife. I want to have the honeydew list done so that when I'm done, she can go, thank God he finished everything before he left. That's
all right. Are you finished?
We're never done. And nobody gets to live long enough to see how it all turns out.
Right. All right. Well, Dylan, thank you for coming back here on short notice, too. It was just a week ago that I asked CD to have you back on the program, and before I knew it, boom, you're here. I appreciate it.
I haven't done it yet, and I have to do it. Merlin's Mistake, coming September 30th, Danu Books. You'll be able to find a pre-order link by the end of this month at dylanbrody.com.
Excellent. Links are in the description. People go support good art. And if you need some help, sign up for activevoiceproductions.com. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Have a great day, and keep rocking. Keep putting up the good.
Thanks,
good
Dylan.
work.
I just strive to not suck, man. Thanks for having me. This has been a joy and a delight.
I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you and your friendship. Thank you.
He's never said that to me once. All right.
You're a good man, GD. Carry on.
All right, bye for now. The fabulous Dylan Brody, folks. Before we go, I know we are way over time here. This is a habitual thing now. It looks like Box Eating Dad. By the way, I found your special actually enjoyable, which means, and this is the only problem I really had with Mike. It's like he wasn't. Now, it's not a problem because there are two sides of the coin here. One, he is taking away people's ability to judge it fresh on their own by if they haven't seen it and he comes by with his commentary, let's stop it every minute or so or 30 seconds or so and comment on it. That kind of prejudices people's experience of it if they do get to see it. But by the opposite, or the other side of the coin is he's exposing it to people who would have never known it even existed in the first place. So.
Which is why I said to him, which is why I thank him. I thank him for the exposure. And the only thing I ask is that people, if they really want to judge it, they look at it on their own without his input, without him interjecting every 13 seconds. Because, and this is what I meant by when I said inept. They have, by they, I mean the people who watch it on Blind Mike.
Hold on.
Yes.
Before you go to they, I think it's important to define the they you're talking about.
That's what I said. I was saying the they. I was saying who the they were. The they are the Blind Mike cast. When they quite often have preconceptions. The first preconception is that I'm a comedian and then I have that 5-to-1 joke ratio. I'm not. I'm a humorist. So I may go 30.
Come on.
I'm just saying they have these preconceptions that ruin the experience for other people.
You're doing a comedy show.
Excuse me?
The special is a comedy show. It's humorist, comedian, whatever. You're doing a comedy show.
Right. And if you watch it in its entirety, if you watch it as without the interruptions, it has a different flow than if you just keep interrupting it every 13 seconds and then dissecting something, or even talking over the setup, which they've done as well. They've talked over the setup, and then this punchline doesn't make any sense because they talked over the setup.
To be fair, you stop anything multiple times while you're trying to watch it, it's going to diminish the quality of it. I don't care what it is.
This is true. This is true. But my mind goes to Rick. Do you guys know who Rick Beato is? Rick Beato.
Yeah, he's a baseball player.
No, Rick Beato is a music educator, a former producer who's a music educator. He's got a very popular YouTube channel. One of his most biggest and popular pieces is what makes this song great. And he will take, and now that's starting out from a positive perspective, so good for him. But he'd take a song and then stop it every 30 seconds and say, oh, listen to this. This is important. Yeah. And that does not let you appreciate it in full, but he's pointing out things that make you want to go experience it in full. And so after you watch that, you go watch the thing on its own, and then he's put pieces that were 30 years old back into public domain and people finding great works of art by him doing that stuff. So there's some value to that. Stopping it.
It's also the way you do it, though. When I was in high school, we had to we didn't have to. In our class, we analyzed song lyrics and poetry. And what we always did first was read through the whole thing as a whole. First, that's what we did first. And then we went through and
the world has changed, Grandpa. World has changed, old man. Come on, get with the times.
I'm just saying there's a...
Did you get on the internet yet? They have this thing.
Just because something's old doesn't mean it wasn't a better way to do things.
Yeah, have you heard about the internet? Have you heard about this internet thing that's coming out?
No, I haven't.
It's going to be magic. It's going to make us all smarter.
I'm looking forward to when they invent something called AI. I'm waiting for that. Fuck the internet. I'm waiting for AI. Then I'll get on board.
You want to because Guy Morris has got this new novel, and I'm going to do him Thursday night instead of Wednesday night because I have a rehearsal with Tony Walker on Wednesday night. Blah blah blah. Guy Morris has got this intriguing new novel out about AI. Now, Guy Morris is a guy who is on the forefront of AI research. He's a former game developer going back to the 70s, like the original video game. He knows his shit about computers and AI. And he's got this thing about a new portal to the fifth dimension being open. That's a novel. But I just want to, if you want to be on Thursday night, I'm just saying, if you want to, we'll discuss AI and its implications and all. This is a good guy to do it. He's big brain. His brain is bigger than his head, so it sticks out.
Let's do it.
Well, actually, I think I'm free Thursday night. Wednesday night, I would have been not free.
Same.
You know why you wouldn't? You know why Wednesday you're because you come into the Tony Walker rehearsal at Tony's house tomorrow night.
No, I'm not, because I wasn't invited. He doesn't let black people go there unless they're dressed as women.
Oh,
so, at least that is from all. Look, I've only seen one black person in his shows.
That's fair,
dressed
and he
as a
was
woman.
just but he wasn't when we picked him up at his house, and when at Tony's house he wasn't dressed as a woman, only backstage in the green room.
I didn't get to see that. See,
That's so weird.
all I got to see is, yes, I'll have black guys, but they got to be dressed as women. That's all I see.
That's a fair observation from the outside. That's what you get to see.
Yeah, he likes to emasculate. He likes to emasculate black people. Tony Miller likes to emasculate black women.
Walker.
I think it's Tony Miller.
Walker.
I'm pretty sure it's Tony Miller.
Walker.
It's Tony Miller that likes to do that.
Yeah, Tony Miller. I saw the flyer.
I think you're thinking of Barney Miller. Bum, ba-ba-dum, ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. He was in Blazing Saddles, right? Now, Blazing Nana was, speaking of Blazing Nana was on Kill Tony, I guess. Was it last night?
I'm going to watch that as soon as we get off here, if we ever fucking go off the air.
All right, we're going to get off the air right now. Show account is, what the fuck? The bank fucked me again. They did. Remember last week when they took a whole bunch of mortgage payments out at once, and then I got cleared up, and then this morning I woke up and they did it again. So I got to deal with that now.
Oh, great!
It's just one more thing I don't need. Tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Well, Wednesday.
Right? Do we have guests scheduled? Don't we?
I think so.
Okay.
Whoa, where'd GD go?
Oh, Amy Jo Ellis. We lost GD. That's fine. We lost GD. Amy Jo Ellis will be here tomorrow. Psychic.
Nice.
And her thing is about atonement. What? Atonement countdown. Atonement something. What happened, GD? What happened? You lost your Gigland salad boy. Lost his Gigland salad. Because the Uber didn't, DoorDash didn't deliver the salad on time.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened.
Amy Jo Ellis will be here tomorrow. Psychic, and then I have to get out of here because I got
unless she's detecting what's on the show right now.
Something about atonement. I forget what the other atonement count. Not atonement count. Conference. I don't know. Atonement. I have a lot to attend for.
Can I just add one more thing? I did answer this before. Yeah. Dylan had mentioned about me burning material, and I didn't record it. I don't record these things until after I've done the material enough that I'm tired of it and I'm ready to move on to the next thing. So.
Okay, we get it.
Boy.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I just want
to say my shoelace was untied. I had a rock in my shoe. The sun was in my eyes. I ran out of gas.
I forgot to turn on my radio.
Okay, Matt, if nothing, you've learned nothing from the Reverend. One of the first lessons is there's a difference between an explanation and an excuse.
No.
And you did not learn that lesson.
I didn't say anything about excuses. Did I say anything about excuses?
You just listed off a bunch of excuses about your shoes and the
sun.
Those
were explanations.
No, I'm sorry. They were.
I don't know. Maybe you don't know the difference.
Well,
if you knew anything about the differences, you'd know.
If I knew anything about explanations and excuses, I would. Yeah, if I knew anything about
the show
humor,
would not be complete without some kind of Willyism thrown in there, just for a Willyism. I think I covered the Willyism in the beginning because I do think, I don't know if you know this, but maybe GD's bringing all his negativity upon himself by his negative attitude about things.
Somebody said that to me last night.
Maybe you need to just read the Law of Attraction slowly in Willie's voice. Well, I don't know if you know this.
Someone said that to me last night, and I said, that law of attraction shit is bullshit. This is what it is. If it works for you, it worked. And if it didn't turn out your way, then you're being a negative thinker. I said, people do the same thing about prayer. If you pray for what you did, if you get what you prayed for, you say, thank God he gave it to me. And then if you don't get it, you say, well, God didn't want me to have it. So thank God for having the wisdom to not give it to me. It's like, so no matter what happens, you have a built-in excuse.
Right. Or explanation, built-in explanation. I don't know.
Well, yeah, built-in explanation. Yeah, it could be an
God
excuse.
damn it.
Yeah. I had something I wanted to add to this thing, but it probably wasn't worth much anyway.
It probably was worth as much as anything else we've added. It probably has the same value that everything else we've added thus far. You notice that once Dylan left,
about what you were just saying there, because with these law of attraction people who, and because Jackie's going to be at McGuire's next, which is the governor's, out here next Friday, and I'm thinking of going to the show, but Mike Zinn, the Kumbaya boy, will be there. Now, Mike Zinn is one of these heavy-duty law of attraction guys. What you put out there is what comes back to you. So everything you do produces the effect that coming back to you. Now, that applies to me only, not to him, because if I'm angry at him, it has nothing to do with what he put out there. It's all me. But if I put something out there and something negative it's all there. It's all what I'm putting out there. But for him, it's not due to anything he's putting out there. He's just an innocent victim. And I think this is the case with all these law of attraction people. If it happens to you and it's a negative experience, it's your fault. If it happens to me and it's a negative experience, it's your fault.
I tend to agree with you, and I was of the school of thought where I don't believe in the law of attraction as they do it. I believe that what we are is like a sum total of everything we've done and been. Every decision we made led to this moment.
That's too heavy. I'm too heavy. That's way too heavy. I feel like I should smoke the white weed, but I can't smoke the white weed because I have to go do a paint party, and I can't be all white weeded up.
Save that for the psychic tomorrow. Maybe she'll figure it out.
Well, Matt, I'm going to help you out.
You can take my white weed?
Yeah, send me the white weed. I will smoke it for you and tell you what it is that you should.
I will die defending this white weed.
So that's the hill you want to die on. It's like
definitely. I want to die so high on the white weed that I don't even know I'm dead. So yeah, but next Friday, Jackie will be here this Friday, but next Friday he'll be at McGuire's, and I think if Zinn shows up, I was thinking of just punching him in the face and say, "You attracted that through the law of attraction."
Well, I did put out feelers to 2 people last night to be on Thursday's show.
To you.
Thank you. That was Steven. You missed me. You got Steven. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
So I had 2 people from last night's workshop. I did reach out to them and invite them both onto the show. One I'd already invited before. She has a new YouTube thing, and she goes, "Yeah, it sounds great," and nothing ever happens. So I reminded her of what she said. And then the other guy has a new English-speaking comedy club in Mexico, and he's trying to promote it.
Wow.
And so I invited him on. I mean, and I have an invitation to go down to perform.
God forbid Steven lifts one of his obese little fingers to try to get people on this show. We just mentioned Blazing.
Every time I do, you think I'm trying to I'm trying to know them biblically.
Fuck them. Say fuck them, Stephen. Be a grown up. And yes, you are.
I've never accused you of just trying to fuck people for getting guests on this. No. I have. I take that back. There one girl who GD told me she's not funny. She's not funny. Stephen must be trying to fuck her.
I've seen her perform twice in person, and she was funny, but I didn't know she had nothing
Blazing
going on.
Nana's funny, right? Blazing Nana wants a white weed.
Blazing Nana
a
is
lot
funny.
of people you think are funny if you're trying to fuck them.
Yeah.
There was a comedian. I remember she was somewhat attractive, and she was not a great comedian. But every guy would say how funny she was because they all wanted to fuck her. I didn't think she was all that funny. I thought she had potential, but I was too busy, trying not to stare at her tits and ass. Yeah.
Too busy trying to fuck her.
And to this day, she has not reached. She probably has fucked her way to a lot of shows, but she's not. To this day, she's not funny unless she's a funny fuck.
Yeah. All right. So, Steven,
all right, I gotta jump off here.
All right, you jump off. We're gonna end this anyway. If you want to fuck all the guests, fuck them, but get some good guests. That's all I'm saying. Don't.
All right.
If you're gonna try to fuck,
I was afraid to have Dylan on because I thought Steve would try to fuck him.
She even did try to fuck him. I tried to fuck him.
I thought about it.
But I'm just saying, it doesn't matter if you try to fuck them if they're good and they're funny and they bring quality content to the program. And most of all, if we can monetize it in any way, if they can come on and say something bad about Blind Mike and maybe get him all fired up. And
I told you, stop calling him Blind Mike. Call him Ed. That way he won't know we're talking about him. Call him Ed.
I want him to know we're talking about, so he talks about us, so we get 2 more clicks. I want 1 more click makes me happy. 2 more clicks make me just fucking high.
Am I the only one who's actually like bored with this fake confrontational war shit thing?
You don't seem bored. You seem willing to
defensive.
Call him stupid. Yeah, come with a flamethrower. Stupid. They're all stupid.
I didn't call him stupid as much as I called their jokes stupid and their
he said they're so
dissecting
stupid.
Inept. Yes,
he said they're so stupid.
And that's yes, and I stand by that. And I stand by that. You know, people laugh at stupid stuff all the time. That's not necessarily funny. I mean, look at Jackass. That shit is not funny to me. And occasionally I'll watch it and I'll laugh.
Now, did you just call Blind Mike a jackass? I'm sorry.
No,
I threw that in there hoping to start a fire where the fire was clearly out.
Yeah,
but
I laugh at stupid shit all the time. That's not necessarily funny. You know, but it's just stupid shit, and I laugh because it's stupid. And
So I just want to, really quickly before we say goodbye here, Flaptail earlier in the chat room said when I suggested he should apologize for calling Blind Mike a pussy, he said, "Hell no, he would never do that, and he could just tell he's a pussy in other ways." I don't want. The ability to just sincere, hey, I got that wrong. You actually were going to show up. Why wouldn't he be trying to show up? I mean, whatever. Just say I got it wrong. I got it wrong. I made a wrong call. Like I'm going to make for the Belmont Stakes this week. I'm going to be betting. See, they got me. They got me. With this fucking ad on Facebook, you can join this New York Racing Association, and they will give you a $25 free bet if you join. But you got to put a deposit in. You don't necessarily have to do anything with it. I can sit there and you can do your $25 free bet and then take your money out. But I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to bet the $25 free thing on the Belmont Stakes. I'm going to bet on the favorite to show. So you can't lose. You bet on the favorite to show. He's going to come in first, second, or third. And I'm going to get 10 cents times $25. But then I'm going to be hooked. I'll bet. And then that whatever deposit I put down, the $200, that's going to
how you stop betting. Make them a sponsor, because when you had your betting people sponsors, for some reason you didn't bet on anything. You stopped betting.
You're wrong about that.
Are we gonna bet?
How much you want to bet? What odds you giving me? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't take much. I have a gambling addictive gene in me that now I'm going to be hooked, and you guys are going to have to come back. I'm going to be in the gutter, laying in somebody's piss. What about $2 bet?
Is your gambling addiction based on the thrill of gambling, or is it based on the fact that you think that one day you're really going to win?
It's based on my father's fucking heritage that he put this in me. I don't know. I don't know shit about gambling. It's like a fucking drug.
That doesn't make, because my father was a numbers runner.
Just because the gene skipped over you. My father had alcoholism. That skipped over me.
Did it?
Well, I don't know.
Or did it just become weed?
I'm not a weedaholic. I'm a pothead.
I'm jumping on here, guys.
For 5 or 10 minutes at a time.
I went 10 full years without smoking any pot.
My mother went. No, she didn't, but she would have. She had lived long enough. Well, actually, my mother died in 2000.
Oh my God! Of course, his mom had to come up in this.
So she's gone 11 years.
Wait a minute. And now it's time for a story about G.D.'s mother.
My mother died in January of 2015, and she has not had a drink since. So yes, she quit drinking.
Wow. All right. With that, folks, G.D.'s mother definitely should have remembered to turn on her radio. Bye for now.
Definition beside me.
And a lot of that comes. Turn on the radio. All around the world. Turn on the radio. All around the world. What you wanna do, baby? It's on you, baby. Walk around happy. What you wanna do, baby? It's on you, baby. Walk around happy. Turn on the gotta walk around, man. Who the hell are you? All around the world. Walk around happy. Don't worry. No matter what, don't worry. Tell me what you are going through. I can see the light in your eyes. Is that love? This is the love. I can see the light in your eyes. Is that love? This is the love. I can see the light in your eyes. Is that love? This is the love. I can see the light in your eyes. Is that love? This is the love.
Listen to me now. Listen to me now. Listen to me now. Listen to me